Dogs of Warcry is a podcast from the Mortal Realms focusing on Warcry, a fast-paced cinematic skirmish game by Games Workshop. You can expect discussions on gameplay, rules, homebrew, lore, painting, terrain, narrative gaming, leagues, and events. Welcome to Warcry! We're talking Dogs of Warcry. In this episode, we'll be talking about Warcry Terrain that's been released, and also all the other terrain GW has released. And you can see my co-stars are very happy and use them all.
Yeah.
We've decided to mess with Josh right before he has to start talking in the recordings.
Right?
Started off with a giggle. I'm excited. This is gonna be a fun episode, Josh.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
We're off
about
to
terrain.
a roll.
I am
it's
too.
gonna be good.
We got some good stuff. Lots of pretty pictures, and will be fun commentary for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And of course, we'll be talking about our usual stuff like hobbies and Path to Glory games we've had, and any new rumors and stuff we've heard on the internet. Guys, obviously you're doing well tonight. That's good to see. That's good to see.
The pills are working.
And for our listeners, obviously you can see Vint and Mike have joined me today, so we're going to have a great time talking about terrain. And of course, later, we'd love to hear your thoughts and information about terrain and what you've got. But for now, let's jump into the Forge of Mithraxis. Vint, what kind of hobby you been up to?
All right, so I have been hobbying on I finally decided on a project for our pirates, and so I've been hobbying on those. It is more difficult than I thought, because I was going to very specifically do like a certain thing on the bases, and I am normally like a build their feet, throw them on the base so that I have something to hold on to, and that's not part of this process on this. So I'm like, well, we're going to see how well it goes. But it should be fun. So far, so good. Right? It's just like a guy jumping off the top of the building, ask him how he's doing as he goes down. So far, so good.
Vint, that's what I say when people say, how you doing? I say, well, I'm trying to live forever. So far, so good.
Yeah, exactly. That's way more optimistic than mine. See, and everybody, this is what meds can do for you. All right.
Also, the meds are 2 cocktails. That's all. Just a little scotch now.
So, been doing a little bit of work on that, and more work on some Crute this week. So, getting those ready. There's an escalation, easy for me to say, escalation league that's starting up that I'll be doing. So, yeah.
Which Crute are you playing with to start out? They've got so many great like stealable stuff for AOS. I always like seeing those models. Which ones are you using?
I'm gonna have. So actually, funny enough, I'm using AOS models for broadside battle suits. They happen to use the same base size as Fomeroid Crushers. And I think that's way more pretty as like this giant guy with literally head spikes and a big rock. He says railgun Crute more than anything else to me. Like they have these giant Crutox that's like I developed throw rock really hard. So those are going to be used in the escalation. I have a bunch of the Crutox Rampagers that are of course going to be in the list. So they're like somewhere in the 50% range of done. The heroes are super duper fun to paint. And they have a lot of character. Like each individual Crute has a lot of character. I've been working on them for a while, on again, off again. And I realized like in my head, their center, like their chest has a different color was what I always thought, kind of like Yoshi. Right. And then I went and looked at like everybody else's paint jobs, and they're like, no. And so I've done a lot of extra work on a lot of models. But thankfully, regular Crute are, I think I'll end up with like 120 in the list. So I've got time to figure it out. Yeah.
Man, your dedication to painting that many models so many times, man, never ceases to amaze me. It's impressive.
It's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy when they
Machine.
look
The man is
awful.
a machine.
Effortless, even, right?
Honestly, dip and shake.
Thanks, Army Painter.
All
But
right,
that's
Mike,
been
how
about
about
it.
you?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, I've been busy bee just like Vint over here. So this past weekend there was a tournament up in the Twin Cities, which I had been intending to go to. However, I had an unexpected life update where last weekend we got a puppy, so I had to spend a little bit of time working on him. And the last weekend I was planning on I was in good shape. Like, I know if you know anything about me and attending events, it's that I wait until the last minute to do everything. It was probably, I don't know, 40% done with everything last weekend going into it. And was like, sweet, I got time. I'll be able to knock it all out. And then Saturday night, we picked up the pup. So didn't get a chance to wrap everything up, so I ended up staying home. But in the time where he's been napping, I've been working. I was working on a board to go up there. I've been still working super hard on that one. It's very fun. It's definitely going to be at Mortal Realms Con coming up this September.
Oh, yeah.
This September, Saturday and Sunday. Come on down to Stoughton, Wisconsin. I hurt my voice a lot.
Wow, that was good. That was good.
You only get it once ever, it turns out. I'm ruined from it. But yeah, no, I think instead of being able to unfortunately not take it to that one, I'm definitely going to use it for Mortal Realms Con, and it's already spiraling into a couple of other board ideas. Also, apparently I've been eating a hair. Sorry. But I've been busy doing that. And then, yeah, just trying to get the pack together for that. It's almost a month away now, and I want to try to get that rocking and rolling so people can see it. Was putting some hours in on that this weekend. Hopefully get it up in the next week or so. And then, yeah, just I want to talk more about what I was doing for the board, but I'll talk about it after. Once people have gotten a chance to see it at Mortal Realms Con. It's a fun one. I think it's super themey, and I've done a lot of cool new techniques, multimedia techniques.
Nice.
And yeah, found some a lot of just definitely. I never believed in slap chop, and I've definitely understood a lot of why it's great, especially for terrain, which I've been working on. So
Gotcha.
does a lot of heavy lifting. So yeah, but it's been good. It's been fun working on it, and yeah, just looking forward to actually getting to bring it to a table sometime soon.
Right? No, it'd be cool to see. I hyped it now.
Yeah, and I guess what? It's not going to live up to it. How about you, Josh? What you've been rocking out on?
Oh, not as much progress as you guys. I did start converting my Corvus Cabal leader, for our Circle of Paint challenge. So
Sweet.
I got some ideas. I replaced the human head he has in his hand, or I think it's a she actually, and in her hand, put a skull in there, and I'm going to kind of sculpt some wispy stuff to make it look like a soul that was captured from the enemies that they were fighting. So I did a lot of research into what symbols does Morta have, or more, and it's hard to figure out because there's not a lot of information out there. Like Morta is kind of this, well, for Lethis anyway, they have this raven and a skull, and they represent Morta with the skeletal raven, but that's not really like Morta's symbol. And then for more, it was like a black rose, but sometimes a raven. The main thing I'm thinking about it is because all the Corvus Cabal have this, belt buckle that has their symbol on it. So I've got to cover it over, and I've got to paint or something else, to represent Morta instead. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to be putting there? So still not really sure about that, but spent a lot of time doing some research on images and information, trying to figure that all out.
This is the level of crazy that we have. Is that if the belt buckle's not perfect, I'm not doing the warband. I have to get it right. I do that same thing though, Josh. You're like, let me trawl through the wiki and just try to find anything that could potentially be just an inspiration for just a logo. And I very much understand where you're coming from, and frustrating when you don't get that like perfect.
Right.
Like, just give me a gem. I don't need a lot. I need something.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'll green stuff over it, cover the symbol there, and I'll just paint something later. I got to figure out what that might be. But I got all my green stuff and all my tools ready, and then I had a hard time seeing the stuff, and then my wife had put my sunlight bulb lamp somewhere, and I couldn't find it, so I had to wait for her to get home, and then I found it, and I got it stashed under my desk, so I know where it's at next time. So now I can do the model, because I got to do the hat, and I got to do the wispy skull stuff. So
just imagining you as like the old man on the bus that's lost his glasses, feeling around on the ground. Oh, okay.
Right. I was like, I got all my lights on. I was like, where are the fingers on this guy?
I was thinking,
Did you
Oh,
say
no, they're on the head.
Yeah.
like Ozzy.
Right.
R.I.P. Rip the goat.
So that's been my progress so far, but hopefully I'll make some more roads on that coming up.
We got a month to go. We're in good shape. Yeah, we're almost the same. Yeah, we're in great shape here, where we've only just kind of started on them with a month to go after 2 months of, I wouldn't call it procrastination, preparation perhaps is the correct term for it.
Right.
We aren't amateurs at the procrastination. We are pros. Procrastination.
Yeah, this is. We're getting paid to. Well, we're not, but we're amateur procrastinators. Semi-pro. We're
Semi-pro. There you go.
We're in the minors.
Sometimes we work ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we couldn't go to the Olympics for procrastination because we're too professional for it. Yeah, we're not amateur status.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully more progress next time.
Cool. Same.
Right, so I know you talked, Mike. We're gonna break into the path to glory.
Woo! Here we come.
Mike, you were talking about doing a tournament. Did you have any other games that you've played since our last recording?
I have not. Nope. I was taking time to work on the stuff for the tournament. Didn't go to the tournament to play any games. Didn't play any games locally. I am hoping to get out this week for Tuesday night. I'm kind of penciled it in. We're practicing with the puppy being alone for extended periods of time, and that's going to be a great way to do it. So I won't be fretting over if he's destroying his kennel or anything like that, because I'll be destroying people in Warcry.
Excellent.
Yeah. So no, absolutely still no games. It's been a quiet month for me, but I'm hoping to get back on the old Warcry horse and take it for a ride.
Yeah, summer's tricky that way. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Josh, how about you?
Yeah, I didn't make this last week because of summer, but previously, a couple weeks ahead of that, I got in at least 1-2 games one night, and my Dark Oath Savagers are still rocking it. They're doing really well. With 10 models, they cover a lot of bases, and now I have an Ogroid Mimrodon in there, so he's pulling his weight.
Oh boy! Oh boy! What?
Yeah, making lots of strides on our map campaign. I've got 1,250 points, and Ogroid Mimrodon in there.
But what can a single Ogroid Myrmidon do in the face of 7 God Speakers?
They can listen.
Swat them far. Send them flying. Team rocket them into the space. No, I'm excited, Josh. We still haven't. I don't think we've played this season yet. Somehow,
no, we haven't yet.
Definitely, I gotta try to get out a little bit earlier one night because I'm usually a late attendee. So
yeah,
I
played Eric's Dark Oath a couple times now.
Yep.
But yours, they seem to. I don't want to say cowardly, but
no, we're really busy talking to the gods. There's they're just as chatterboxes. When you get them going and they don't stop ever. It's really tough. So.
There's old full relays where they're plugging some things in, connecting people.
Yeah.
Nurgle, you want connected to Nurgle? Please hold on one moment.
The Chaos Gods are doing a lot of Midwest goodbyes. We're like, oh, all right, we'll see you next weekend. Oh, by the way, did you hear how Joey's doing?
Right, exactly.
I just see all these God speakers like kicking their feet on their bed. No, you hang up. No.
Yeah. Twirling the cable.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Exactly. I like it.
You been playing any games?
Not any Warcry games. I've been getting a bunch of other games, and I did some AOS. I am about 2 months late to the party for the realizing it was the 10-year adventure. We've been on the AOS band for 10 years. That's really cool. And like though I had
so you're
played,
only a week behind Games Workshop on that.
Yeah, honestly, that was what kicked it off. I was like, oh shoot, this has been 10 years. But yeah, 10 years of Sigmar, and that was pretty exciting. And so went and got a couple games of that in, which were fun. Playing Stormcast. I'm repping the shirt, though you can't see because I'm 4'11", and if I stand up, I'll be entirely in frame. My secret will be out. But yeah, I've got my Stormcast shirt on. Shout out to Joe Alexander for getting me a bunch of them, because a lot of these are from like Joe's catalog of Infinite Stormcast. He's got at least.
It's insane. He has.
Yeah.
He's got the anvil of apotheosis at his house, right? That's where they're all coming. Isn't that where they
legitimately
come from? Stormcast.
Get away.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
you walk in and there's just lightning bolts zooming up the stairs.
Well, and then one of the other people on our Tundra Tactics team, his name's Zach Lambie, and Zach Lambie was like, "Hey, I've got these Stormcasts that are old cast. Would you want them?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely, of course, yeah. Why, yeah." And so I've got some of those. So it was kind of cool. One of my friends always gets excited and normally asks for that for his birthday to have us build or paint a model for him for any of his armies. That way, when he's playing, it's like his friends are there with him, regardless of where or when he's playing.
That's super cool.
He plays national tournaments and stuff. So like my pieces have been to Belgium. My pieces have been to the UK.
Dang.
Like it's super cool that they're there. And when you see them on like stream, they're there. And given I'm never going to be that good to be on stream, or it'll have to be a real slow day for streaming. It's very much the same where like these models that are gifted to me when they find their way, to the battlefield, even if when I first started, I used to get a lot of anxiety playing one-on-one games. And I still do sometimes. So it helps with that. I'm like, hey, my friends, they're right here. This is Zach. This is Joe. Joe is a liberator. Zach is a Griffhound. Like, that's just how it goes. No, it's cool.
Yeah, but what are they in the game then?
Oh,
what are they in the game though?
Both of them, they're both, I was going to say eliminators. That's not right. There's something with an ORS at the end.
It does sound, that feels like a Stormcast. That fits.
I feel like that should be a quiz time. Like, is this a Space Marine unit or is this a Stormcast unit? Indicators. Let's go.
Nice.
Vindicators. Right? We make them. Oh,
I would really think it'd be funny if that wasn't like such an easy joke across every setting I've played. Like, the Inventor Warsuit or the... Anyway, yes. I've been getting some games in. It's been fun. It's cool. Shout out to AOS for 10 years and like 3 months because I'm late to the party. Yeah, it's super cool. All the same reasons I got into AOS are some of the same reasons I love Warcry, right? The rules are free. Everything's available on an easy-to-use app. Shout out to Warcry. You're a real one.
Legend.
Like, it's just so much fun and so accessible. And I think that's, like, more than anything, something to be celebrated. So, anyway, now that I'm off my soapbox, that's what I've been playing. Josh, how do you feel about your circle of paint? It sounds like you did a little work on it when you could see.
I did a little bit of work. Yep. The model's not assembled yet. parts are filed. I'm starting to convert parts of it. But yeah, I'm feeling confident. The only thing I'm more nervous about now is as I was assembling it, I was like, wow, there's a lot of detail on this model. It's going to take me a while to paint this.
Yep.
It's like there are a lot of feathers. There's
And
a lot of
you're
trinkets.
adding detail with the belt buckle.
Right.
So.
So that has me a little concerned. But I've got traveling up to Michigan this week and weekend with my wife to help out with her parents. My family's coming to town for a week after that, so that chunk of time is gone. So I'm like, okay, I gotta find more time to do this. Maybe late night in the basement.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you've got that light on real bright and just exactly. I gotta stay away.
It's Josh's workshop.
Directly in your eye.
The table of terrors. Right. Saws.
Halloween's coming up. It's coming soon.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, Mike, any progress on your Circle of Pain?
Oh, my Circle of Pain challenge? Oh, thanks for asking. It's going great. Has it changed since the last time? Wouldn't you like to know? No. It hasn't. I looked at it a couple of times and didn't think about doing anything with it. I've been working on the other stuff. So, yeah, it's but again, I'm also not actually. I take that back. I thought about cool basing ideas for it. So
okay,
I'm basically done at this point. I don't. Yeah,
no pun intended.
No, none at all. Nope, didn't even catch it at all. I still don't know what you're talking about. So
basically,
no, not getting it. No, but I was thinking about some cool because I'm doing a mega boss. I've got a lot of base to work with. So yeah, and yeah. Yep, it's great. Yeah, they're like, what if this one guy was on a 60 mil base, right? Yeah. So yeah, I got a couple more minutes of stalling I could do. But Vint, how's yours going?
Pretty good, really. So I'm doing the basing, and I have the components I need for the basing. And then
all right, you're just being mean now. You're just rubbing it in my face. My basing's going great. I'm almost based, fully based.
It's really easy. When you see what I'm doing, you'll be like, okay. But
which one have you decided on? As far, you don't have to give like all full detail, but like which like warbandy bit?
Went with the
theme,
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Doing the twist weld.
Great question.
Yeah, great question.
Okay.
Going with the twist weld idea to do coral and stuff. Earlier on in this challenge, I did a lot of research on coral because that's what you do. And there's just so many fun corals. So I think I can probably do the like color matching of the corals to the thing. It's going to be kind of fun and challenging because there's going to be a lot of like pinks and pastels and purples and sea colors that are like on coral.
Right.
And then like, the debate on the basing was, do I want to go very difficult, kind of difficult, or super easy? So we're going to start on kind of difficult. And if it sucks, which it might, then I will go to very easy.
Okay.
But
fair. That's fair.
The very difficult one would be to do like get 3D printed like small knobs or something like sprues, like take the little like cylinder things that come on some of the models and chop them up and just like chop up a bunch of like sushi style, a bunch of the bits and then put them on the ground so it looks like dead coral, because dead coral is really pretty.
Gotcha.
But putting your model on top of that or putting those around your model in some kind of way would be difficult. And then to paint those without getting paint on them from the model when I am planning on using some contrast for sure would be harrowing. And again, not
that's where you'd want to do them separately and then paint it on top.
Yeah, right. See, that's not going to happen either, though. Yeah, that's why it was very difficult. I was like, I am starting to feel like I'm in the realm of Josh, and I don't know that I'm there yet. with the twist welds,
Nope.
and this is easier.
Yeah.
But we're gonna find out.
It just
We're gonna
glues
find
right
out.
on.
It
Yeah.
just looks.
I know. I've been struggling with: do I want to do wooden basin to make it look like they're on a ship deck, or do I want something more environmentally neutral? It's like, yeah. I'm struggling with basing myself a little bit, but
I don't want to put you in
Look
a
at
box,
us.
buddy. But if
Same
you
boat.
do that, we're gonna be very matchy. So.
okay.
Well, then I'll do it too. I'll just do all wood as well for mine. That makes it easy. That way we can judge not based on the quality of the basing. We can judge on the quality of the mini, which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Vint,
And who can screw
Vint,
up
I will
popsicle
say,
sticks
I
the
used
most?
to. Well, mine are all not craft ones. I eat all mine just to be environmentally friendly, so mine are pretty sticky. But
How does that work with
Vint, I used
primer?
to keep a lot of salt water there. Tastes delicious.
Good fiber.
Vint, I used to have a ton of saltwater fish tanks and corals and stuff like that. So if you want ideas, or I'll vouch for. There's a ton of different stuff out there. And I was actually at Shed a couple of weeks ago and was like, man, I should start another tank. But holler if you want to bounce some ideas or if you want some inspiration too. I'm happy to pass along my former obsession of a hobby. Well, glad we've all been, especially me, working really hard on our Circle of Paint challenge. Wow. A+ to me, you guys can have B's. But popping along to the old visions of Mad Niece, there was a little bit of news. I don't know if you guys heard about it or not. They did.
It's good.
So during the show, the preview show that they did, which, by the way, I think we got everything right, except for, shout out Domir. He's a local fella. He's come to a couple of our events and stuff like that. But he pointed out the only prediction thing that we really got wrong was that they wouldn't mention Warcry. We kept pestering them in the Twitch chat again.
Oh yeah.
We just have an army of people that end up going and like everything they say, they're like, "Hey, check out this new Votann release." Everybody's like, "Whoa, those would make great proxies for KO and Warcry." Like little things like that. Just find a way to loop it back in. But they did end up announcing those Chaos Dwarves, and the most exciting part from our standpoint was that they literally said, "Hey, these guys are getting Warcry rules." So, holy mackerel, pretty exciting. That's the first peep we've heard in quite a few months. Thanks, Games Workshop, for acknowledging our existence.
And it'll be really cool to see what rules are for those Hellsmiths of Hashut.
I'm hoping a lot of people play them. A friend of mine, I've done this before for other things. I hope so. One of my friends and I have done this for other releases where we bet on ears or beards. So whoever kills the most gets the most elf ears during a certain Lumineth, 280 days of Lumineth, when that army came out. So we did that, and then the winner, no matter what kind of elf you killed, you got points, and based on the elves you killed, you would score higher or lower, right? And then whoever lost had to buy the other one steaks and do a cookout, and we'd all get together and talk about our games against the elves. And then we did it with beards, and that was I did well enough to not be last, but I didn't win that one either. And although it was very close, because towards the end of this bet, I had like a series of tournaments where I was playing 40K and I got to play a ton of dwarves, like a ton of dwarves. It would be like I'd go to a tournament, I'd play like 2 games into dwarves, and then I'd do a league game, like a league, and there'd be 2 people who pivoted into leagues of Votann that I'd have to play. I write little paragraphs, battle reports, and I think it makes my Chaos Knights look really, really angry and spiteful against dwarves because of how many times I've played them. It is baffling.
We got a grudge.
They're so in the grudge book. But now I'm really excited because one of these people has come forward and been like, we should do Chaos Dwarves because they've made the evil dwarves and now we have to kill them. And I'm like, well, sounds good. Year 10, Age of Sigmar, let's collect us some Chaos Dwarf heads. So that's the plan.
I like it. Maybe we could do some local stuff with some wandering Chaos Dwarves. Put some wandering monsters on the board and fight over those for a league, Josh. That'd be kind of a fun time.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just
get some extra. Chaos Dwarf heads to help Vince's cause.
Yeah,
I need those gears.
Now that they're here, let's cull them. Let's get rid of all of the dwarves by killing them. We waited so long. We're so excited. Let's show our excitement by murdering them as far and wide as we can.
Demons to good use.
Right. Personal demons you're talking about, right? Hopefully, though, with those rules, hopefully we do also get like the regular kind of FAQ and stuff like that. There's been a handful of things that have been coming. More underworld stuff obviously would be great. Some points changes, I think, for just the regular stuff. Hopefully bringing up some of the factions that haven't been that are a little trickier to play. Some of those newer ones just get a little, like Twist Will Event. I think they could just be a little delicate sometimes, especially when they're trying to kill themselves to do more damage. So for those guys and some of the other ones, hopefully they can make them, give them a little bit of a buff so that they can get a little stronger, and then just kind of get a refresh, some points out there for some just different ways to play. I think that'd be really exciting. So yeah, now thanks for feeding me. Let me bite that hand and, come on, give me more. I'm hungry.
Right. Don't stop.
Yep. I'm trying to think if there's any other super fun. After we had Cody on last time and he released his pack, I'm trying to think if anybody else has released anything. There was a couple. We're recording this on August 10th, and yesterday, August 9th, there was 4 events going on around. Nobody necessarily like releasing packs or anything like that, but just it was an exciting day. What an exciting day. And the visions I could see afar. There was I can't remember. One of them was like Central Europe, one of them was in the UK, one of them was in the Twin Cities, and then the other one was up in Vancouver, I think it was. So super exciting, just cool to see, especially during summer, like you said, Josh, right? Summer is a harder time to get people together, and they're all really well attended. And so,
lots of fun games. It looked like lots of cool terrain.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And of course, they never said when, because we don't really actually know when they're coming out or anything, but I'm guessing fall.
It'll probably be when they did it before, like for Flesh Eater Courts, they waited until like the whole line got released. So they're gonna do like the release box, and then they'll do like the second wave. So we probably won't see them till that second wave, I think. But at this point, just the fact that knowing there is a light at the end of the tunnel and we're not gonna run face first into it feels great. I'll settle for that. I don't. Yeah.
Right. It'll encourage people to buy them too, because they know there'll be rules. So
for sure
helps GW, of course, as well.
Absolutely. Which is really what we're here to do, to keep the $1 billion company moving steadily forwards.
They've only ever done right by
more
me.
Models.
Right. I can't argue that point necessarily. So yeah, it's. All right. That's enough lollygagging.
Now we're ready for the true victory condition of this episode, terrain. All right. Well, we'll start with you, Mike. What is an ideal piece of terrain for you? So people have it in their head as we go through the example.
Yeah. Well, my ideal piece of terrain loves long walks on the beach, blue eyes, tall, obviously. No, for me,
come on, man.
I'm a huge fan. Yeah, and it would be Vint, but 12 inches taller.
With blue eyes.
Yeah, I want to play Shadow of Colossus on Vint. I think that's the right.
no.
So no, but for real, I love like super themey terrain. For me, oftentimes I will err on the side of looking awesome on a board, and so I will have. I'll make sacrifices for some playability, as far as like verticality, especially. I'm happy having kind of more of a maze for some things, just because I think it looks so good. So that's probably one of my biggest driving forces for the terrain. If it looks good, if I got some eye candy and I'm staring at a board, ooh wee, I'm happy. And if Vince on the other side of that board, ooh wee.
He can't see me because I'm under the table. Or
That's
on
true.
my
No,
center
we do bring
Yeah.
phone books for Vin, so he can.
Yeah. My guys all have to stay within a 12-inch radius of the side of the board because I can't reach.
Vin's got the shuffleboard pusher still there.
Oh man.
It looks like that scene in Indiana Jones when they come in and the bad guys are pushing the stuff around with the stick. My ideal terrain, Mike, is it's usually I think it's about 3.5 inches wide, rectangular, has like a skull face on one side and a skull face on the other side, goes over lava, usually used on maps that rhyme with matacombs. It's a bridge.
I'm getting a
I
real
like
image in my head.
Yeah, it's perfect little spikes on the side. So if you get mad and you decide to get your opponent, you can get them real good because it's full of spikes. Yeah. Or I don't know. There's these other ones that are like pillars, and in the middle is this like gate, and it's either down or up. Those are great too.
Is that some kind of? It's an Elvish thing, right? A door, I think that's what they call it.
Doggo door.
No,
Yes,
dwarven.
exactly.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, right.
The availability. I mean, anytime you play with me, I probably have them close by, right? I literally just found my second set of them, and there was like a really big thing. Like, how do I justify my Circle of Paint challenge going onto a bridge when the bridge won't fit on the base? And it took me a little while, but I decided against it.
Nice.
You can make it work. Bring that project back up. You're moving too fast on that Circle of Paint challenge anyway. Figure out the bridge.
Slow it down.
Slow down. Make us look bad. Buddy.
Rework.
Yeah.
He's just gonna have the bridge like a steel chair from
Oh, there you go.
The twist wheel's got it in his tentacle thing. He's like,
That's pretty sick. That's pretty cool. All right.
Right.
We solved it. We figured it out.
Josh, how about you? What's your favorite piece of terrain?
I think theme is also, I'm really big on modular terrain just because it's easier to pack and move around for storytelling purposes. But one of the things is the people who make set terrain, it's almost like a diorama where they have so much detail and everything in there that it's, like you said, it's just amazing to kind of look at. Mm-hmm. But I like somewhere in between, I like some elevation, so you get some interesting play, solid walls, some openings, and then a mixture of little details that reward you for kind of examining the terrain up close. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure.
All right. So listeners, we're going to pull up a slideshow, and we're going to go through all the GW terrain that I was able to scour on the net. We're going to kind of talk about what do we think of it in terms of playability. What is this table presence like? Does it look cool? Does it not? And then, of course, we'll talk a little bit about availability, affordability. A lot of it is kind of older and really hard to find, but some of it's a little newer and whatever else. So give me a moment here while I get us from an IT perspective.
Flashing lights, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we found your light, Josh. You just blasted it all over.
That would be the white slideshow. I didn't want to taint the color on the terrain pieces.
Understandable.
But the slide is, watch out for your too much blue light and trying to go to bed.
Right. Hey, at least we don't record these late at night.
Right, yeah, that'd be rough.
All right, so here is our first one. First edition starter, of course.
Classic.
I loved this terrain.
Yeah.
When we got
Yeah.
it, the Dogs of Warcry, one of the first episodes was how to build this terrain. I remember watching Eric Oakland do it, and that was so cool. I wish I would have seen that episode before I decided to put it all into one giant piece of terrain that looked like a maze, because that's how it should work, right, guys? It's a maze. But it was really cool. I had so many games on this terrain. It was just so silly and so good. Lots of
I agree. The elevation, lots of shed some blood on those spikes a few times, of course.
Oh yeah, yeah. How many times have we
At
been
least
stabbed
add some
by
doors
those?
too, which is nice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I think for most people, I think this is they made this and then everything else got worse just because this was such a good set. I think, right? Like it's quintessential, and yeah, they nailed it. Everything you wanted it to do. It came with that awesome head platform. That I think it's the only place they ever printed that. I'm pretty sure. And that thing just looks fantastic. But like you said, it's got modularity, Josh. Right? You can all of those like the scatter, you can like add it on top of like the platforms, and all of a sudden it just looks multi-dimensional in another layer as well. So like it just has it bricks things off or blocks things off to moving around and stuff like that. It's just it looks great. It's just they nailed it.
Yeah, agreed. You know, and I don't know how. I know people are still finding it out there, but I don't know how readily available it is. Yeah.
It is definitely harder to find, and if you're finding it, it is expensive because it's basically priced out because it comes with 2 war bands, it comes with the beasts, the roaming beasts, and then you've got all that terrain, and it's out of print terrain. So it's usually like in like the $300+ range from what I've seen.
Right, that came out in 2019, so a while ago. Yeah.
There is somebody that made really, really close proxies for this that you can find the 3D print files out there.
Right.
So if you really want to try to get something like this, there is some good replicas if you're hunting for them. But I mean, it's a tough find.
Right. Exactly.
If you find it's like gold when you get it, you're like, oh, and then you see the price, you're like $700. I can't afford gold. It turns out it's okay.
Right.
But it's super playable too, right? Like it comes with like the stairs. It comes with so many different things to climb on, move around. So it just hard. It's tough to beat.
I'm still bringing it to game nights and setting it up, and I use half of it on one board, half of it on another, and then it makes it look like ruins.
It's versatile too, right? Yeah, like the way that you use, like in this, right, like in this setting, it's like here's kind of like a ruined city. You used it and made it look like they were just like kind of abandoned outpost buildings on islands in the middle of the ocean. Like it was so cool how just diverse the application is for it too. So hard to beat.
Definitely a good one. Agreed. All right, Catacombs. Obviously.
I'll take this one since obviously this is my favorite one more than anybody else here. Go ahead, man.
So this was the pinnacle of my Warcry experience for so long. I think the board was great, and adding the lava was cool. There were a lot of games you could play on it over and over and over again that kept being fun and kept the game interesting. If you got the extra packs, I don't know if we're counting that as this terrain too, but it added extra stuff.
Yeah,
but I can't tell. I think that like it was just such a fun and like visceral way to play. Like watching rat ogres go into the lava, watching Josh, how many times did my leader go into that? We played like one day where we played all catacombs, and I had my leader go into the lava every single game. And like it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. He'd like step on something, roll a 1, I'd move again, and at the beginning of or whatever, and boom, he's in the lava. It was just how it went. Like the odds were ever stacked in my not favor. But like the playability was fun, right? You had the sewer entrance where people could come up from. You had the interactive terrain, which was fun. And that carried forward, I think, into one of our other terrain sets that we'll talk about in Red Harvest. The thing I really liked about this, on top of the by itself was a great box with great terrain, is that it had all these other pieces in it. So if you had another map, right? I used Pathfinder maps for a while, or like D&D boards where you'd get the pre-made maps. You can put this stuff on the pre-made map
Yep.
and then play with it. One of my friends had all these dungeon tiles, so we just built a dungeon and then put these things in there, and then played in that. And so like it took every D&D set, every D&D table, and brought it more to life and let us kill each other viciously over and over again on it. And that just made it really, really fun. And like the splash terrain being tall enough to give so much cover, as well as like, hey, here's a pile of weapons, your guys are suddenly better. And every time somebody would use it, all I could think of was like, it wasn't like, and I found this sword. It was literally like them like kicking the weapons or like smashing the weapons with like an axe, and all these like daggers and other things fling at you, and that was the other attack, right? Like it was just like pocket daggers, like pocket battle axe, like, right, like very, very much how it felt every time. Unless I used it, then it was once, and then I was like, well, that's good. Good. Got him. But I love Catacombs. I found an unopened box recently at a local store and was like,
There's a couple
Misty
in
Mountain. Misty Mountain.
Blowing the coverage out. It's a secret stash in case I need 5 more boxes one day.
But yeah, it's super fun. Love Catacombs.
Mm-hmm. It came, so the back of the board that's here is just like the open, like the above ground terrain, right? And so like that half sprue, I mean, because it comes with the bell tower and those 2 other pieces. That's literally just basically half of the core set that you get again. And we already talked about how good that is. So it's like it's diverse. It adds a lot of different stuff to it for sure. So yeah,
because the way they did, of course, the old mission system, the quest system. This book introduced the fact that you could be above ground, and as you'd play with some of the terrain, and then you went into the catacombs, and so it was nice. You had that dual element of the storytelling, above ground, below ground. That was the first set that kind of introduced that aspect, and it was a lot of fun.
And I mean, just on theme, right? This is just another home run. It's just so clear what's going on here, and it's everything that you could want to look at. And, it is, but it is, like you said, Vin, it's when you find one, you go, oh, it's right. It's a surprise. It's a find. I think they're still out there, like online and stuff like that. These are not nearly as kind of sought after and like difficult to source as the OG starter set, but they're still, I mean, they're I think they're a little pricier, like $200 to $250, something like that now. But again, it's pretty much, the value is good, right? You're getting the books that come in at the old core book with all that great lore and stuff like that. When you buy this, you get the 2 warbands, you get Scions of the Flame, you get Canine Shadowstalkers. So, it can't be looked at completely in a vacuum, but it's a good deal if you can find it usually. Yeah.
Well, and the rule set works in 2.0. We've played multiple games of Catacombs using the current rule sets, and it's just as good. So
very, very little adaptation there's tiny little things, classic 1.0, 2.0 kind of stuff, but it really it works. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
All right. Next we have, of course, Red Harvest. Just as I mentioned.
I've played I bought this box. I remember exactly what I was doing, where I was, where I bought it, all that kind of stuff. This one, I think, got a lot of people's attention for Warcry. It has so much great stuff on there. Like Vint was saying, you've got the rules, right? The sluices that are in there. You can just turn lava on and start melting people for fun. Vint likes lava in pools, and then this must have made it even better, Vint, right? When the lava can move around and hit people. It's mobile lava.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me live my fantasy.
Sorry, nerd.
Actually,
it's technically magma because it's not. but No, I know a lot of people really like this. This was such a like for the value of this box too. Again, I think it's kind of the same as Catacombs now, where it's about the same price. It's a little bit marked up, but not quite the same as the starter set. But you get 2 Warbands, you get Tarantulas Brood, and you get the Darko Savagers. So like that's kind of a weird part of the cost you have to associate to it as well. But there's just so much terrain in this box. It's very, very dense once you build it all out. You've got those 2-inch, 4-inch platforms. Like the multi-layer platforms, those are really, really like just good for climbing on and stuff like that. Multiple bridges in this one. I will say I actually find the set slightly less playable than a lot of people do. I think when those platforms are, especially in the, like you can see in the picture if you're watching right now, when they build it like that, it gets really hard. Like underneath the platforms gets a little fiddly to try to move around, which I do feel kind of interferes with a bit of the playability of it, but for the most part, it's it's cool. You've got this really visually striking stuff that you can climb on, do all kinds of crazy stuff on too. So I think it's still really, really solid for me. But it does get a little obscuring when you're trying to look down on a board and stuff like that sometimes too.
Yeah, all the machinery and the mining theme of it, it's very striking, as you said. It grabs your attention, and especially when the people paint the Varanite in different ways, like lava, like glowing green or blue stuff, and it's always striking. No matter what color you're painting it, it's pretty cool.
I have a long time conversion project for this that I want to do. That's Gloom Spike gets playground, where on like the lever thing, there's a couple of guys using it as a seesaw and like put mushrooms in the Varanite piles and stuff like that. But yeah, Vin, did you get to play much on this one at all? Have you? What are your thoughts on it?
I did. It was super fun. I thought it was very much a mousetrap kind of map. So like if you ever played the old board game. So like a lot of it, I did a lot of like kind of teaching-esque games on it, where we'd be fighting against a secret third option, right? I would try and I used the board a lot because it had lava on it, or magma, or Varanite, or whatever you'd like to call it. But you, because you had all these cool rules about like slop and slush and grossness, you could really like take the Catacombs rules that I loved and make them less like destructive and vicious for playing somebody new, but still be like, hey, look, the big difference between this and like Spearhead, which would be what we have now, but like this and a smaller sided AOS game, is that your terrain is absolutely imperative to play around, right? Like this is the terrain. We'd put people on the, people would be duking it out on the sluice, and somebody would turn it on, and you'd be like, no, or
whoops,
you'd be underneath.
Somebody didn't get the OSHA memo.
Or you'd be underneath the sluice, and somebody turns it on, and your guys get smoked. I also like high key love that there's a grinder to push somebody into. I keep thinking about the like will it blend videos, and like watching somebody's like character get like just like Sparta kicked into it was perfect. So, I liked the theme a lot. Mike, I 100% agree. Sometimes the playability, because the terrain pieces are very large, like in this picture, it doesn't really do it justice to how much terrain is in there and how much you have to rely on multi-level like play, right? Like you can't. There's barely enough room. Like when you look, this is me pointing at the screen because I'm a boomer. But when you guys see right here where I'm pointing on the screen, anyway, when you look at this picture, you can see that like the Dark Oath are taking up a large portion of there's not a lot of play space where you can fight. And in a game where you have lots of opponents and lots of fighting happening and objectives that have to be on the ground, you kind of ended up quartered off pretty quickly, unless you put the objective someplace dangerous, right? In which case, again, that was exactly what I was doing. I was like, and we're all going to fight in the sluices because otherwise you don't get the objective. So that was super fun. But yeah, the terrain was kind of wonky. Josh, didn't you and I and Eric Oakland play on a board where we use those ramparts though is like a siege battle where he had like the secret messenger
Yes.
guy, and you and I clocked the messenger right away and just myrtleated him. Um,
Yeah. You and I played against Eric, and he was the defender, and then yeah.
but I think he
I
used
played
those
against
rules
Eric
wrong.
in a siege battle as well with his son, and we also ended it immediately. Eric has a type, and it's getting his face smashed in siege battles, it turns out. Miss you, Eric. Come back. We won't smash it as hard next time.
But yeah, I liked the theme. I liked the playability could use some work, but it was a lot of fun. And again, the rules from Red Harvest were so fun to apply to any other board, right? Like if you have a board with like the like spearhead board from the Skaven tie box or whatever, right? Where there's cracks or there's like Skaven-y stuff throughout, right? Or you're using a board
Right.
from some other game system, right? You've got Pathfinder boards and you've got empty holes of lava or something that their people are fighting around. It just makes it so much easier to grab those rules and be like, okay, you're within X of whatever it is. I turn it on and you take the damage. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great point too. That we're talking about these as independent sets as we're kind of going through this, but many people have combined or terrain smashed together different things or played with multiple things on the different sets on the same table, and it looks great. So definitely keep that in mind as you're thinking about. It's not necessarily a one and done setup, right? You're mixing and matching all sorts of neat things to get unique themes.
For sure. The only other thing I want to add for this one is painting it is a bit of a chore. There is so much like filigree on it, like the amount of wood and then like the metal kind of coverings on it and stuff like that. It is probably the most notoriously difficult and like arduous paint session that you're gonna have for any of the terrain that's out there. So just be aware. It's still great, and you don't have to paint everything perfectly. But if you want to paint,
painted.
Yeah, if you have the perfectionist gene deep within you and you cannot put it on the table without it being fully painted and beautiful, this one will send you over a cliff.
Like the Dreadhold, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's coming. Don't ruin the surprise. I think Dreadhold's probably easier, actually. Spikier to hold, but I think the individual banding all over this thing is just
It's excessive. It's excessive.
It's chaos, though. What do you want, right? Hey, that's chaos for you. The sixth chaos god is filigree.
They like their decorations. Yes. All right. So for first edition, we did a lot of Ravage Land sets. They had these smaller terrain releases. Didn't include models, but the terrain sets had unique themes and added, you could play on them. They had their own boards, their own unique setups and deployments, things like that. And again, you can kind of mix and match. So these are two of them. I got them both. I've got them assembled. One of them is painted, the other is not. But the Ravage, the Shattered Storm Vault is really thematic. Lots of cool torches, the statues. The elevation is kind of limited, so I usually tend to mix something a little taller or a couple different things. But in itself, makes a really cool kind of temple-like table. So I don't know if you guys have played with that one much or not. There's an AOS set. We'll kind of see that later too, where they released a lot of the Stormbolt kind of stuff too.
I played this a lot on TTS actually, and I agree. I think it just looks so cool. It's so thematic, and like the ideas behind it, and especially the board that comes in this box. You can see it's got that like chessboard pattern on it. Again, just another really cool like. It evokes a lot of imaginatory. It's a made up word. Stuff. It makes you imagine good. I will say though, I do not care for playing on this type of terrain. I find that especially the stairs are really, really difficult because you can technically park on them while you're climbing and stuff like that. TTS, it was fine because I could literally lock a piece in place because it's digital. But in real life, I think it's difficult.
Yeah, you need a dice marker or something.
Exactly, something in blue tack or something like that, where it's like, all right, pretend this model's right here, right? The edge of his base is at this lip or something like that. So it is a little bit tricky for playability. But like you said, Josh, if you're mixing it with other things, I think it gets a lot more playable. It's amazing. They put cards in these boxes too, which is great. It's really hard to use both of those platforms. They're huge. On a Warcry size board, it takes up a lot of space. So oftentimes when people are using, and like you said, any of the other Stormvault stuff, it's like, all right, I'm going to set like one massive piece up and kind of have a big set dressing for this board. But it is, I mean, it just looks so good. I've seen so many cool paint jobs on this one, and cool thing you can see in this, all of the Ravage Lands come with those the token sets, which are always super valuable to have. The thing is, they're out there still. You can still buy these, but I've only ever seen them between like $150 to $250, so they're pretty pricey for what they are most of the time, but usually around 200, I think, on average. But they're all of them are cool. They're for sure. Vin, have you played on the Stormvault?
I have. So my hot take is less awesome. I think playability is bad. Straight up.
Yeah.
I've had people be so fun facts. With this terrain, the best use of it, I don't know, was this yours that you magnetized it?
Yep.
Okay. So I played on Josh's where it's magnetized, so you can put those columns wherever. But we've done every game with Josh is a good game, but man, like I feel like I get so much more out of the games when we're not on it's a board with 3-inch elevation and stairs you can't stand on. However, I've also played AOS on it, and AOS somehow makes it worse because it's so much. It's a big piece of terrain that gives whatever the era like aura buff is that half the time you don't play with anyway. But I had like 2 really bad games on this when I was playing Trolls, because Trolls can hang onto, with their hands up like this, those pillars. So they can get deployed on those things, and they are big enough to do so. So you can put them there, and then they hold on to the thing, and now your opponent, who is going to be really sneaky and put his models on the top of it, gets absolutely rocked by a rock gut troll. Heyo. And that's happened twice, and both times my opponent, normally, like, they're pretty chill, like the 2 people I played, normally they're pretty chill about it, but it was one of the reasons I definitely was like, okay, well, while this terrain is prevalent, I'm going to take a little breather and stop playing my Trolls as well, because this is like, I'm sorry you were trying to game the system by not letting me go up the stairs and be to where I'm legally able to be. And then it didn't work out because my Trolls got the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hand that's grabbing onto the pillar, and he's gonna beat you up with a rock while he's doing his best cliffhanger impersonation. So I don't like the terrain in general. You'll also note, though, that there is a bridge, and that bridge is perfect for catacombs. After that, though, I don't know. Not a lot of positive I can say about the terrain set. I think it'd make a great board, right? This is display board terrain because it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. I don't think it's functional. It doesn't block line of sight. It doesn't work in a way where your characters can engage without you. He's kind of here, because kind of turns into was he, wasn't he, right? Where is he actually? Where does his base end? And it just it makes it so messy. The board was amazing. I played a lot of games on the board, but I'd put regular Warcry Terrain or our next set, and I'll jump right into that, the Corpse Rack Mausoleum.
Whoa! Did you feel that smooth transition?
Was it spooky? I really like the Corpse Rack Mausoleum. I think when this came out, I had already bought a few Gardens of More boxes because it was one of the most accessible boxes of terrain ever. When the Gardens of More box came out, it was 2 of these for $90. And so when this came out, I bought a third one because, well, I wanted the ice map. I have a couple friends who are like, you know what are really awesome?
board.
Ice bases. Never do you see that in in most other games, but they're like ice bases. I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. It paints up well. It looks super cool. It's very posable, very playable. Adding rules from Catacombs to it, or Red Harvest, or whatever goofy rules you want to do for your house, you can do it. You have spooky terrain. It also makes your, like, if you play Stormcast and play on this, I think the one thing that feels the funkiest, but also really cool, is your Stormcast feel massive. Like, you're like, oh, that is right. He is 8.5 feet tall and 6 feet wide. He could run right through this wall. He absolutely is on brand for deciding he's going to jump the fence, because the fence is nothing compared to his Azurite armor. Like, it feels giant. However, on that same note, and this is where the theme gets a couple minus points for me, your humans feel ridiculously large. So, like, there's a human inside those tombs, at least one. And if you lay down a Cities of Sigmar guy or gal, you'll find they don't fit. Beautifully done. I am so sorry for all the hobbits we have to mourn that live inside this small place.
Oh no, it's not hobbits, Finn. It's just dead children. It's fine, dude. It's fine.
The gardens of more children.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Mummies, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. And daddies.
right. Yeah, I think the set itself is beautiful, and I love the snow theme that they did. It's great, and I've seen it painted up in a variety of different settings, and it always looks great. And actually, I saw recently a picture where somebody's made a graveyard set with this set, plus the Storm Vault, plus the Bone Tithe Nexus pieces to make some elevation and unique setup. And I was like, oh, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. But kind of one of the things I didn't think was useful. I mean, I love that the fact the fences are dangerous terrain. Makes perfect sense. But you're missing the elevation in this set.
Yep.
Well, the Storm Vault has it. It has some elevation. It's not nearly the same as, of course, the previous sets that we talked about. This one has none. There's not really any way to stand on top of the crypts. It's all just one level. But I think it's interesting, and it's maze-like in some ways, and how you kind of set it up. And again, I think integrating it with something else makes it really unique.
Yeah, and that's kind of the so I bought this one not as like the regular box. I found it on eBay. It was one box of this, and then kind of similar to Uvent, the guy was just selling 3 extra copies of the set, and I was like, okay, basically the same price, sure. Okay, sounds great. So I have one fully painted that looks great, and then 3 completely primed black with nothing else going on. And all of my friends locally are really nice, and they don't force me to paint them, so we get to use them all most of the time. But multiple sets of this is really cool for exactly what both of you guys said, right? You can kind of catacombs it and stuff, really get a little mazy with it. And it does create these really interesting decision points, Josh, like you said too. Like, while the verticality is not there, you can maze it off in a way to make people make sacrifices to take D6 damage, from climbing
that fence to get where you need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to
or trying to slow down the enemies? Or
exactly.
Whoever.
Yep. Yeah. Is it worth it to you to potentially get there hurt, or is it worth it to get there late? And you have to make these really interesting decision points when you're playing games on it. Unless you're flying and you just don't care. You go, whatever, it's a wall. who cares?
Stupid night hop.
Exactly. But no, it does. It looks so good. I love that, if you're, and like I said, the same for this one with the Shattered Storm Bolt. This one's out there. You can buy it. It's just, that $150 to $250 range, somewhere in there. They are available, not super prevalent, but they're out there. And the cool thing is, if you want to do kind of like a little version of this, we'll get into it a little bit later, but like obviously the new the starter set terrain / the terrain that they put inside the new Spearhead box, combine that with the new Soulblight Gravelords and Nighthaunt terrain, their terrain features, which is basically 3 of these buildings just with some like custom extra stuff on the sides, things like that. You can kind of recreate this set, which is really nice. And also, like, fences are not that hard to find if you really want to do it. Like, if you can't find this one, there's a lot of fences, graveyard fences out there, but I really like playing on it. it's definitely different, and it definitely makes you play in a different way than you would in a lot of different boards. But I never feel like I really miss the verticality. But I also love combining this with some of the other city terrain that's out there to make like these really. When I played Flesh Eater Courts in League for a while, I mixed this with one of the ones on the next slide probably, to make it feel like, hey, here's a building over here, here's a little courtyard, and there's a graveyard. All a very evocative setting for it. So
Exactly.
yeah, it looks great, and like you guys said, it's like the snowboard looks fantastic. It's a graveyard. What's not to love about a graveyard set of terrain,
Yeah.
right? It's
Fantasy
always a
themed.
winner. Exactly.
Definitely.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, for
All
sure.
right.
And
All
the
right,
next
here
one.
we go.
Oh, let me keep going because this is what I combined it with. So Defiled Ruins is an absolute banger. It is the two big pieces that you get. It's got two huge platforms in it. The only negative with those two platforms is that they are chiral. So like you got your L's and your L's like this. You can't flip them. You can't get them to do this nicely. So you can't get a perfect symmetrical
Ruined building
board.
Yeah.
You can make the buildings, but like if you want to have a more symmetrical board, you can't do it nicely. You kind of have to get creative with adding extra pieces to it, or just saying, it's not perfectly symmetrical, so be it. But they look so good. They're so playable. There's holes that you can go through the walls. There's doors. They've got all these like additional pieces where you can just create this ruinous terrain out there as well. There's only two pieces that are super like have that verticality that you can play on, but they work so well. But yeah, this is what I used with that graveyard. I made it look like, hey, there's a huge abandoned building over here. There's kind of demolished buildings in the nearby area with the graveyard next to them. I really like this. I also use this to create a oh my goodness, what's the city? Emberguard? Yeah, Emberguard. Where like the Skaven came up and stuff like that. I used this set to create a board that's like covered in rats. So like I need to finish it and like just do some detail on it, but like draw some like rat graffiti, kind of like they did in that Spearhead terrain. I've got little rats kind of all over, like climbing all the edges to not stop the playability, but just like have them around. You can just theme it so many different ways, and it's really similar to like all of the base the starter set box as well. Like all the pillars and stuff like that are the same architecture, so you can blend it with that really nicely. The statue looks great. I think this one comes, it's with two little treasure chests, which are great little tokens to use for different things. But I really like this one. I think you can do so much with it. It's not super like themey because it's just buildings, but like buildings are just so versatile that you can do a lot of different stuff to create that theme too.
Right. Yeah, and you can even put extra platforms on top of some of those sections.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Yeah, you got an L, you just add something to the top of it for sure. Right. Easy enough. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I own 3 sets of this one. I got some pretty good deals on them. Found them really cheap, so you keep hunting for them.
Yeah, I've never played on that one. I've got there was a Hollow Heart like board set that came out that has some of these pieces, so I have like some of them, but none with platforms. But the architecture is fun. Like you said, it's similar to the OG set.
It was all part of that like Azir kind of terrain era that they did.
Azurite Townscape is another one that I think we have in here somewhere.
I'm pretty sure you added it in. Yeah.
This one reminded me of like I think it was the Azurite Runes box, and that one was like again it was this times 2. And like seeing some of the random like 2-story versions of this or larger square buildings where they like kind of weave some of this together and then put like Zone Mortalis or other random terrain to make it bigger was pretty neat. The board was cool because it was up until like the Ravage Lands thing, you got like very little like impact, like you can see that there's blood and broken stuff on it, broken ground. Otherwise you just got kind of like, and here are some ruins and here's some sand, maybe some blood on the ground.
Hope you like dirt.
Cue Anakin. I don't like sand. But for all of those people who didn't like sand, I thought the playability was fine and it was great and it was good. I think it was just another piece of terrain that was just like trying to be the original group. and a good way to add on to the
Mhm.
original group of terrain.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
It kind
That's
of
a good
like,
way to
the original
describe it.
terrain kind of planted the seed for it, much like our next piece of terrain, the Soul Drain Florist. You like
Right.
So the Soul Drain
Nice.
Florist, I thought,
Man,
here
oh
we go.
man,
I'm not
master at
actually a
work
negative
over here,
Nancy.
a wizard.
Um, Give me that rune mark. All right. So Soul Drain Forest, I thought was really, it was a strange thing. So at the time when Soul Drain Forest came out, I was working in a store, and people would buy it so they could get 2 wildwoods, which meant that those boxes went
Yeah,
really fast. Uh, the
yeah.
times I tried to
Which
play
is a great
Warcry
way
on
if
it,
you.
I was like, wow, I feel like there's probably some foresight happening here, where maybe trees aren't the answer, especially without platforms. But alas, I would maybe never be proven right. Uh, the best use of these I found were as Sylvaneth players, where they used the splash terrain on their bases for their Tree Lord Ancients, and then used the trees. Board, beautiful. The stuff that comes with it, always great.
Mhm.
But the board was cool. The trees were trees, and they don't really have places to stand. We had somebody take one and like flatten it out, but it was still like this. So you put models on it, and if you put another model on it and bumped it, the other guy's just gone, right? And now you get to
Yeah.
take fall
Yeah.
damage, which I love, but it's not what you wanted. So Soul Drain
Yeah.
Forest,
Yeah. Again, I think.
bottom tier.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the theme is it's cool because you're like, okay, yeah, not every warband is fighting over ruins, right? Yeah, maybe they're moving through the woods and they come upon each other. Makes perfect sense, right? It's like a D&D encounter.
yeah.
But like you said, then it's just really just a straight up kind of mashup because there's no blocking line of sight, there's no elevation. It's just a skirmish in the trees, which again in itself, storytelling would make sense. But yeah, it lacks a lot of some of the other stuff that we got.
Yeah, it looks I think this might be my favorite board they've ever done, and that's actually the board I was using to work on for the project that I've been working on for the board. It's just so cool. All right, I'll drop for anybody who's still paying attention, who's stuck around. I'll tell you a little about that board. It's got a ton of spider webs on it, and so I was
Nice.
leaning into that theme. There's just so much cool spidery stuff on this one that it's so pretty with that stream running through it and stuff too. But yeah, I fully agree with you guys. I think it's just it doesn't, and it doesn't do kind of what the graveyard does, where it's like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff that does just kind of block your movement. This doesn't even block movement that well. It looks really good though, like especially when you paint these, when people do. Is it yours, Josh, that has the autumn colors on it?
No, I don't have that set actually.
No,
So
okay. I wonder. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe Pavind or Eric's.
yeah. Pavin or Eric may have it. I know
Yeah.
Eric has it.
Okay. Yeah, it just looks incredible, right? These paint up so well, and they can really draw your eye in. But then with the canopies of the trees, it does kind of make it hard to move models around them. And it, like you guys said, there's just not a whole lot you can do with it. It's a great one it's a great second set to combine with something, I think, just
Yep.
to
Yep. Like having it incorporated with defiled ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah. That would be great, right?
Absolutely. The biggest thing is you get that board. I think.
Yeah.
It's not a great set to play with, but you do get the best board that's out there. So
It's a good board.
It's a $200 board.
I guess the other part of it too is like the trees. So even if you did put the flats on the trees and you put people in the trees were balanced so poorly because they're meant to be in a circle for Sylvaneth players to teleport through. That like if you had them like,
what's great if you're playing laterally, if you go like sideways, it's fine because they balance, but front to back, then they just get super dippy.
Well, and these ones are the weird ones where they have like the like semicircle, right? So like sometimes you're okay, sometimes you're just not. Like they just kept. I was, I don't know, 0 out of 10. If you like Sylvaneth and you want to get 2 sets of Wildwoods for the price of 1, and some sick splash terrain, buy it, sell the board to Mike, he'll pay extra. Extra.
I do
like
one
this
thing I did with these that was really fun for Hold on. Don't transition super hard yet. I got one more fun
Oh,
little
sorry,
thing.
sorry.
If you don't put the branches on, if you leave the branches off, they kind of look like mangroves, which is just a fun little thing. I was
Oh,
using that for a
okay.
little D&D encounter. I intentionally didn't build them all out because I wanted to do that encounter, and then our group fell off, and then I never built the rest of the trees. So, but no, it's just a cool way to just kind of vary it up a little bit and stuff too. But yeah, again, if you want to do this
Yeah.
one, just buy a box of Sylvaneth Wildwoods. You get 3 of
Yeah.
those trees, and then there was another box around like that Azure time that had all of the scatter terrain that's in it. That scatter terrain is
Right.
kind of cool, but it's fine. You don't need it unless you
Yeah.
really want city scatter. You just don't need that stuff
Yeah.
specifically.
You can use all kinds of logs,
Yeah.
fences, walls, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now, one of the interesting things they did, and they didn't do this for the OG set, and of course they didn't do it for Catacombs, but after that, they started releasing portions of the OG sets
Yep.
as additional Ravage Lands. So, obviously, we already talked a little bit about the terrain.
Mhm.
I guess, and I know that some of this is still available out there,
You can,
in terms
yeah,
of
these
individual
ones
sets.
in periodically these get like crazy good deals on Amazon. Like I think I bought both
Right.
of these on top of my Red Harvest for like $30 each. I bought one for like a prize for one of the Mag Cries that I ran and
Mm-hmm.
stuff too.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
thought I'd put them in here because
Yep.
I mean, it's a great set. And that's a great set. They've got
Mhm.
nice elements. They've got the sluices. They've got some elevation. So each of the little boxes is still, I think, useful
Mhm.
in
And
mixing with other stuff.
they come. I mean, it's great value if you can get it cheap, just because it comes with a sprue of. No, sorry, it doesn't come. No, it does come. No, does it come with scatter? I can't remember. I don't think it does. But it comes
I
with
don't think so. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, it comes with the sluice sprue, and it comes
Mm-hmm.
with the platform sprue, and then it comes with the big whatever the specific, either the pit dredger or the Varanite siphon. You get one of those two, right?
Yeah.
But it also comes with tokens again, which is awesome, and it also comes with a board,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really nice. If this is another great like second purchase if you're looking to expand stuff out. Just gives you some cool tools, or if you want another one of those like cool platforms or just more sluices,
Right.
these are really great for expanding on Red Harvest as well. So, but yeah, if you can get them cheap, they're good. Again, they're still around on like Amazon and stuff like that. It's not enough terrain to fill out a board by itself, though. I think you're really,
Right. Yeah.
really
Neither
smart.
of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yep.
Which is why they busted one set into two.
Mhm.
So I mean, obviously, you're hoping to get it at cheaper prices because you're not
Mhm.
getting the same value. Definitely.
Yep. For sure.
All right.
Mhm.
So next one, we start moving into 2.0.
Oh, what are those? Is that some kind of meat tree? Never seen those before. Neat.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Better
You
get them now
closer,
before they stop
poke your eyes
printing
out.
them. This was just I'm pretty sure this weekend was the 3-year official anniversary when this came out. I just remember because I went to a big beer fest that day and then got a ride and ended up picking this up from the store after. So, yeah, it was some cool. It's a really cool set. I think people dislike the trees now just because they got printed so much. But when this got announced, I think people were very excited just because the theme is obviously, incredible. This box in particular, you get 2 sprues of the scatter, and you get the 2
Right.
tree regular sprues. You get that the lower rib platform sprue, and you get the skull tree. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do with this set for sure. I think it's one of the better, like, if you can get a deal on it too, because you're obviously going to get like it's another one where you get 2 warbands, right? So it's going to be more expensive. It's like, I think it was like MSRP like 260 or something. Somebody posted somewhere yesterday that was like, hey, if I can get this for $100, is that a good deal? And I was like, if you don't buy it, please tell me where, because that's a great deal. But you get obviously the Horns of Hashut, and then you also get Rotmire Creed in the box. You get the core book, you get the fun splat book for all of like the lore and stuff like that. I like this terrain. I think by itself, I think it does a pretty good job of just being able to play it straight up, and it's obviously, we'll see, very customizable too. But
Yeah.
I think it's a solid all around for sure.
Yeah, especially being the first iteration of it, having those jade-like walls, the Seraphon implements, and mixed in there with the Gurish terrain. The only thing, the bone tower was awesome, but it's not very heavily balanced, so you just had to be careful with it. But otherwise, I agree. I think, especially when it came out, it was novel, it was new. Having the bamboo platforms is great, and having rules to cut them down, and just how different ways it interacted. It had the elevation, it had line of sight blocking, had all the different scatter terrain. I enjoyed playing on this quite a bit.
The skull tree too. It had the horn that you could blow, and then have your friends come in early potentially, which was never worth it unless you could deploy on it in round one. And this was definitely the beginning of the terrain rules are kind of bad. They're there. They sound really cool, but you're never going to use them, unfortunately.
I have cut a few platforms. But,
have you?
Very rarely.
Okay.
But there are occasions where I was like, I've got the objective. You don't.
Back away at it. That's awesome.
I really liked it. I thought it really caught the theme of Gur, right? Like when it comes to the Gurish expanse and the plane of Gur, I had done a ton of. I think right before this drops, we did a podcast. We were talking about the. I think it was on Mortal Realms proper. We were on the not Path to Story, the another Mortal Realms podcast where we were reviewing. Story Phase. Yep, and we were reviewing the Beasts of Chaos core book or the Battle Tome, where they talked about what was going on with the Beasts of Chaos in Gur, and all of the things felt like they pointed to this for them to shortly thereafter be thrown into the wood chipper, into the Varanite's grinder, in fact. But it was just it captured it so well, right? I was like giant beasts, bones, skulls, like the beast skull with the tower, absolutely kind of tough to use for playability, but the theme was so cool. I just never care. I'm like, oh gosh,
even if you never use it in the game, put it on the table because it just looks that good.
It does. Yeah.
I've been fortunate where like when it first came out, and I've weirdly not played like a ton on specifically the board with the skull head on it, like the skull tower. But when I have the one of the victory conditions or whatever would always be like be on the tallest piece of terrain. And so like there'd always be like this like dynamic fight at the top of it. And that always made a big deal in the end of things. So you'd have guys that you'd be like, okay, I can't quite get there, but if I dash, I can jump up and fight him. And if I knock him down, my next fighter can jump up there, and so you're like shooting for the moon on these things.
That daisy chain of just trying to keep knock and move and fall and knock and climb and fall.
And standing up
hitting
and
range
crawling
attacks.
around. Yeah. I think it's fun. I know that I've done different things with it at home in League with other terrain sets where you can kind of like stabilize it a bit more by connecting it to other things. And that's been okay. But it's still bases, like, yeah. So it's I thought it was peak theme. One of my favorite themed boards. And it doesn't even have any lava guys. So, it's got to be good. But yeah, it captures Gur for me. It really did. And it put me into the thing where I was like, gosh, I could be in Gur for a while. 3 years later, I'm not so sure, but we stayed there and it was all right most of the time. You know what else I like about Gur is our next set of terrain. Josh, what's our next one?
Ba-da-bum.
Oh gosh, it's like it's broken. It's Sundered Fate. This one's got the little house with the something
bone
in it. Yeah, the bone hole. I was like, it has a fun colloquial name. Gosh, I was like, it'd be really
That's
cool.
Eric came up with that.
He did.
Yeah, and it's stuck the bone hole.
It did. It is like far and wide known as the bone hole now, for better
really
or
is.
worse.
Right.
Mostly worse.
It was cool.
No, I think this had the 2 additional trees with different platforms, and one had like a wall, which is kind of cool.
They had, yeah, it was like an add-on sprue essentially, where it was the same tree base where you had the skull and then the spine tree, and then there was a whole separate sprue that would let you basically build those. As there's a tree with two platforms, and this one gave you a big third platform to put on it, and then
Right.
the other one usually had a little square base, and this lets you add on a little bit and put a canopy over the top of it. So you got the exact same trees, but with an extra sprue to make them feel different, which it worked.
Yeah.
And they were way more playable in my eyes once they
Yeah.
got bigger like that. Just a lot more space to be up there because they are smaller platforms normally. So and they just look great. A lot of really cool stuff.
Well, you can mix and match with the other set easily, right? Because it all fit
It's
really
the whole
well.
point.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
literally.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to have a forest of your own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This one,
And-
again, by itself was kind of tricky. You only got one sprue of scatter with this one. You got the two trees and you got the bone hole. So you got like two less like large pieces or one less large piece, I think, than the last one. But that lack of a second thing of scatter really did make a difference, I think, just for feeling a little emptier. But as an expansion, it was fantastic. And I think you can still get this one. It's probably close to like MSRP again too. So I mean, it's an okay price, but again, this is another box where you're going to get Jade Obelisk, you're going to get hundreds of Hawanchi in it. So, you get more than just the regular terrain set if you're looking for it. But I mean, it was a great addition to what they were building on for sure.
Yep. Any thoughts, Finn?
I mean, I thought it was an addition, right? It's a +1 tree, +1 bone hole, +1 for things in general. It's Mortar, right? They're bone trees with bony bone parts and dead animals around them. The trees look like they're gonna reach out and ET you right in the face. I think, I mean, it's not bad. I think it's not like maybe the most like, oh my gosh, this is crazy out of their terrain ideas. But it certainly is better than the Wildwoods ×2. So mid.
Yeah, they're better trees
not mid,
and a
though.
tree to tree 1-to-1 comparison.
Yeah, it's just
These guys
better.
win the tree fight, both physically and literally.
Yes. Our next piece of terrain is going to be amazing, though. It's going to be the Blood Hunt.
You guys mind if I take this one real quick?
Oh,
please do.
Please.
So I like this one to the tune of having 6 copies of it. I finally built my first one recently. Originally, my plan was to make a
Siege
bamboo,
battle?
a bamboo dread fort, basically. Yeah. This is, I think, the best one that they did. It created these little L's of the only true line of sight, like I guess the Bonehole did it too, but like consistent line of sight blocking terrain that there was. It was such a cool idea to basically have this fortress that you could build out of bamboo. A lot of really evocative again on the board ideas that they had. They got the little platforms as
rules
well.
In the book too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like it was like siege on the walls. Like you could improvise weapons. It was like deadly terrain to try to scale it and stuff like that. So it's a single box, and this is why I bought a couple of them. I think two boxes of this is great. Really, really good because you can make 4 corners essentially. You can actually make like a legit fortress and do, defenders, attackers kind of battle, classic fantasy idea for it. It came with the exact same trees, and then those trees kind of fit into little L shapes on the platforms, or they just kind of fit flush. So you can glue them, you can leave them unglued if you want to, but it's a little tricky because you got to make sure you put the branches in the right spot, because if the branches are obscuring onto the platform, making it less playable, that's a big pain in the butt. But yeah, I love this one. They introduced those little ladders that you can see. Like the bridges are standout for me. I think the bridges always look fantastic. They're always on that same scatter sprue. But the ladders were a really cool addition for this one, and I just think they don't necessarily make that much more playability. They do sit nicely on there and stuff like that, but they just look cool. But I think this is very playable. I think this is very thematic, for this stuff. And again, I think it's still out there. I got some really good deals on it. Like I was finding good deals on Blood Hunt, and then I would just sell the warbands off for good deals on that too. So it was like, all right, I'd sell warbands for like $30, break down the box, and then I'd end up getting the terrain for like $50-$60 total in the end. So it was a really cool box, and unfortunately 2 very underpowered warbands that you get if you bought the box, but also some of the best looking. Like when these came out, we were so excited. We saw the rules and we were like, well, what did they do? But yeah, this was probably my favorite one. Not even probably. This was my favorite one from Gur for sure.
I really like it because it can fit into. I'm sorry. It can fit into other games too, so you can right. If you want to use it for D&D terrain, it's amazing. If you want to use it for kill team, you can have them not fight in a city, right? Like imagine like a dichotomy of places to fight, and it fits in.
No,
well.
I can't.
Well, and it works good for siege battles, but it also works good for I think whenever I saw this terrain, it was neat because I could put the Gardens of Moor or the whatever mausoleum, whatever it rose by any other name. You can put that on the other side, and now you have a place that the attackers are coming from and a place that the defenders are coming from, and it feels like there's a battle. Right? It's not, and we're here and we're fighting you in your fortress. It feels like, hey, there's emotion to the table that tells a story without us having to say a word, and that's always the best way, right? The third player on your board is always a terrain, and it's nice when it can help with the storytelling. This does that.
I like
very good.
Vint, the way you said that, I like the idea of having the graveyard on one side and then you've got this on the other side. And depending on who you're fighting, you can angle those walls. Okay, if we're fighting the dead, we close them out. If we're defending our home, we put it this way.
No, I echo what you guys have said with this particular set. So I like the Skirkin True Blades. So
that's the thing. They can do so much, right? Like they can whack damage, and they're vampires. They're vampires.
Yeah.
They're sweet.
It's a vampire with a monster hunting vampire warband. It was awesome.
I mean, I played Claws of Karanak. Hand up. I put them on the table. All right. If anybody's gonna talk trash about them, I'm qualified. And they were still fun, right? They definitely. Yep. That was when we also did our bespoke only league, which did help. I think lower the power level a little bit.
Right.
But who cares? That's not relevant. We only care about the terrain.
The terrain, right? Exactly. Moving on. All right. So now we get into some more Seraphon terrain as we kind of got deeper into Talaxis area, and this was a cool piece of set. I didn't get this one either. The Realm Shaper engine I thought was a neat addition. The only disadvantage is, of course, you can't stand on any part of it except for the top.
Yeah.
So I think, as a centerpiece, I think it looked amazing, and the people put lights in there. They did all kinds of really cool stuff with it. But yeah, I think playability, it was. It had a real cool. You could zap people with it if you had your priest up there or whatever. But yeah, I think okay, we got the same trees we had before. We got the same scatter. That was the only unique piece. And it was hard to kind of play on.
Yeah. No, that was. I will. Josh, you doubted that this would show up. I remember you and I played a game and I brought a regular Realm Shaper way back, right after the Heart of Gur released. And I was like, come on, man, it'll be fine. And then we were like, oh, damn it, I got to crawl around the sides. And then, and the one nice thing that they did with this, though, they did add platforms to either side so you can connect it. Right. They added the bamboo, which did make a big difference in playability.
Yeah, kind of hook on to and keep it stable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have seen people add platforms to the sides of it, and I think that makes it infinitely more playable. Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt for sure. Yeah, it's another one that it looks so good on the table. It is just a beautiful piece to add on there, even if it is
Right.
just a big old, what is it going to be, like 6 inch by 6 inch square that you're never going to interact with the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Who cares? It looks so good.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just such a pretty piece. And I think they do sell it individually. I can't remember if you put that up. All right.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah, no, buy this one. But yeah. But I think that was, like you said, though, Josh, the biggest disappointment was it only came with that in this box. And otherwise, it was all duplicate scenery. And this was already when we were like, oh, 3 boxes in a row. I bet the next one will be really different. And then they're like, surprise. So um, but they really did a good job. If you're just looking for like a lot more narrative, like play with it, there's so many rules, missions, and like stuff
Mhm.
and twists that are exclusively to the Realm Shaper.
Right.
That they crushed it with just really great ideas. So if you're okay
Yeah.
with it being a little bit wonky, I think this is another good one. And to say the same of this one and the last two, I think they're all kind of around that. You can still get them. They're out there. They're harder to find, but they're usually not too
Hmm.
crazy pricey. Pretty
Yeah. And the
similar, but
warbands are good in this one too. So
yeah, yeah, for sure, and lovable. Feck
right.
versus Stormcast. What more do you want, right?
Right. Right. Any additional thoughts, Finn?
I mean, again, the terrain itself is difficult to play around. I think the coolest board I played on with these was it was like there was three of them, so we had like two normal realm shapers and then the broken one, and they had put like
Mhm.
they had taken one of the void dragon things or like 3D printed it, so it had all this energy coming out of the center one, and so you would like the whole idea
Nice.
was each one was an objective, and you didn't start on it. You had like one guy who couldn't be a priest on one or something weird like that, but you had to get your leader onto one, and then you had like a second you had to get onto the other one. It was some goofy mission where we like played three of them and we're like running to and from, and we just placed the bone bridge between them because bridges forever. Um, so we had like bridges between them. So you're running around on the bridges, fighting on the bridges.
Uh-huh.
But the other thing
That's
I've
fun.
seen these
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
is for like other game systems, right? Like you put this in there with other realm shapers or build stacks of realm shapers, which I've seen for display boards. Yeah, they're cool, but I don't think playability wise they're there. And I think theme is great, but then you're at some point you've pushed themes so far into lore that you're like, okay, so if you've heard this one really cool song off of this Arcade Fire album that's a deep track, maybe you'll really like this terrain idea I put together. Um, and yes, my jeans are real denim. So I guess like that's where it comes to with like, oh, like the person I was playing said it was really themey and really cool, and I was like, brother, there is nobody that knows as much like Seraphon lore as you, and I have no idea what we're doing here. I'm sure it's important. Gosh, I feel like I'm just playing, Legends of the Hidden Temple, and it's not a bad feel, but it is strange, like the theme. So um, that's my
All
hot take
right.
on
All
it.
right. Yes. Yeah. And then, of course, after those big sets, they started releasing smaller sets. Still two war bands, but just one piece of terrain that had some unique rules. So we won't need to talk a whole lot about it. Like, they got of course, the Gnaw Hole, which had some cool rules, and then I can't remember the statue of Mesopottle. I can't remember the name for
Oh,
this particular.
yeah, I can't remember now either. That's gonna
Frog
drive me
head, frog head,
crazy.
But
frog
it could it
head,
could it
frog
could
head.
laser out of its eyes, I
Yeah,
think,
it's it's a frog head. That's all you need to know.
right,
That's what it's
right.
colloquially known as, and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
But the
this was
the
when they
gnaw,
really
yeah,
go ahead.
the well, I was going to say with the maw hole, you could kick somebody into it, and they would be taken out of the game. It was kind of
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that.
Vince back at it. Yep.
Yeah, loved it. Uh,
but yeah, but yeah,
at the
yeah.
last
But
event, I
again,
think I
they
was
start
at.
selling this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
The
you
last
were
event I
there.
think I was at with
No, no.
Mike. Mike, you said you had how many of these? Like three or four?
Keep going.
7. Uh,
No, I have 5 of them. I got 5 of them just because I wanted to do a board where there's one in the center, one in the corners, and like those were the objectives basically that you had to, you had to control and go into the pit to try to hold it. So, yeah,
Nice.
so,
We'll have
so
to
I
see-
think
we'll
I
have to wait
have
for that
3
game.
of them.
That should be
It's-
fun.
I think I have 3. I think I have 3 built now. I got 2 more. Just got a lot of different. It's fun because I'm like, whenever they're on the same board, they're not going to match or look good at all, but they're all going to be completely unique and like feel it. Actually, it'll probably be really good on like a spearhead board where they've got the objectives everywhere and they're different flavors. So, but this was another one. They did a ton of really cool rules for it as well. So like as a piece of terrain, it has missions based around it. It's got specific rules for it. It's got narrative rules. If you're standing on that platform, the upside down skull, at the end of the game, you get like, what was it, like either a bonus or like an additional roll for your renown and stuff like that.
Or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just like they did a really good job of like making it vibe and fit in with like everything else, and it looks, gorgeous, stunning piece of plastic. Both of them. I will say the froghead was kind of a pain in the butt to build. It's basically like potato chips that you're gluing together the entire time. You're just like, all right, okay, I guess. But it does, when you get it done, it paints up really quickly, especially with like contrast and stuff like that for that jade head. The gold is fun too. I enjoyed painting it. It was a fun painting project. The maw pit, slightly less so because there's so many teeth. You got to pick out every individual tooth that he's got going on there. So, but
differentiate it from the bone, and
and these did get individual. You can buy these individually now as well too, right? Yep. So you don't have to get it with the war bands. Get it with the war bands if you can find it. It's way better. The war band. And they also, these ones came with cards to integrate into, I think we'll see it in a minute, into one of the other sets that they released. But I think these both, again, are home runs for theme on the board. I think they look great. You see somebody playing the statue head, depending on which angle you're looking at. Yes, there's a smaller head on the other side that's kind of like into the ground, but like if you're looking at the angle that we can see it here, you're just like, whoa, what's going on there? And then the pit just looks great. So
especially if you combine the head with, I think the next set coming up. Nope, not yet.
It's the next.
There's another Ravage Land set they released, which had a ton more Seraphon elements to it. And that statue,
and they came out at the same time as the Hunter and Hunted box, which was really, really nice. But they're pretty playable too. The maw pit can get a little unwieldy. Some of the ones that I've built, I didn't put the skull platform on, and it's just kind of a nice like
big mouth.
And it's kind of unobtrusive enough in a game that you can just put it down as kind of like scatter. If you don't have the platform on it, and you don't put like the big ribs and stuff on it too, so it can just
gotta have it move around.
That's it. Slurping, baby.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I didn't get the set either, so I haven't really used this particular angry Gnarloak that. So it supposedly moves around, right?
No. They hammered it down. They trapped it so it can't get around, because that's what normal Gnarloaks do, is they wander off. And this one, they trapped it and they feed their enemies to it. So this is another one you can kick people into the mouth. For some reason, this one does have genitalia, which is very unusual. If you flip it upside down, it's a boy. It was an unnecessary detail that was added to it. It's funny. It's funny to look at and paint it a different color and go, hey. But it was a weird choice. If you're playing with kids, this might not be your favorite one to add in. It's pretty playable though. It's got that nice little kind of arch platform on it. You can get underneath it pretty well. It's got a nice clearance to it as well. It looks, again, another one that these 3 in a row, they nailed it. They look so good. And they weren't, is it another Gnarloak? Technically, but it looks so different, and it's doing such a different thing to what the other ones were doing that it doesn't feel stale.
Right.
Didn't you win that one? Didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say you have it. Yeah, you have
it
that
now.
one.
Yeah,
You wrangled
not
the
assembled
it. Well, go and have a look at the underside of it, and you'll see what I was talking about.
I'll have to do that now. So kind of like in the first edition, we have Ravage Land sets in here, and the Scales of Talaxis was unique in that it was like the original Ravage Lands where it was completely new. New board, new terrain, a lot of really cool theme there. And the Gnarlwood Watch Camp and the ones that we'll talk about later are again parts of the OG or other sets that are repackaged.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Scales of Talaxis I really liked in terms of the. It was like, oh, finally we're getting closer, right? There's so much, Seraphon elements here. The Skyfire Pylon did some cool stuff. The statue could do something else. It's got a unique Gnarloak in the corner and all the different jade barrier elements. And they even had rules for the pools of sludge that were on the board there. So, I mean, I love this set. I got that set. Yeah, it was great to play on. It was great to incorporate with the other sets. And it was cheaper than the big box sets because it was a Ravage Land set. So it was great for the price too.
Vin, did you play this one at all?
Yeah, no, I've gotten to play on it. I didn't get to use some of the special rules. That was a bummer. I really liked. I don't think this is the first time you're seeing this is on our thumbnail here. There is nothing that can really prepare you for how big that pylon is. Like it is very large, and it is very cool. The
you
details
kind of see in the
on
box,
it are super neat.
Yeah.
I think the first time I saw it, Mike, you had it. It was a Mad Cry event. I think it was the Rootinest Tootinest one.
I think I played it that first one.
Yeah, and it was just I was like, this is awesome.
It's definitely I got it right when it came out, and I did the same thing. Like when I was building the Skyfire event, I literally got Dankhold Trogoth and took a picture of it right next to it to just show how unbelievably large this thing was. But it like you guys, this is, if you can find this box, this is one of the best deals that they've had. This is a full board of terrain in my opinion. It's all new scatter. It's 3 brand new different themed things that aren't just Gnarlooks again.
Right.
And they're very playable. Like, Josh, the platforms on them, they all come with unique rules. You download the rules from the GW website, and then they combine with the Froghead, the Ravening Gnarlook that was nailed down, and then also the Maw Pit. They literally have cards that lets you use all of those with this exact terrain. So you get the token sheet again, which is always really nice. But the board looks fantastic. It was so well done, and it was just like, why did it take so long for this to come out?
Yeah, it is like it brought this whole like breath of fresh excitement to the Gnarlwood, because we had so many tree elements, and it's like, okay, this totally changes it up. We still got the bamboo platforms and walkways, one tree, but it changed it up enough that it added a lot more back to the environment.
Yeah, for sure. And the price was like, I think it was like $95 when it came out, which is, I mean, for what the amount of plastic that's in the box, it's a big box. I built one of them, bought a second one just because I was like, it's such a good deal and it's such good terrain that, I'll find something for it. They're great, like customizable pieces too. Like that pylon, you can put a couple of those on a board. How good would that look to have like 3 of those just all over the place? And you could use that as like you were talking about, Vin, too, with like D&D stuff. What a cool, like menacing, like dragon Skyrim kind of lair when you've got that big face kind of hanging out there. The rules for the Wandering Gnarloak were amazing because it's like, all right, let's see if he wakes up. And if he wakes up, everybody on that platform gets thrown around. And there were so many cool ideas. They introduced the idea of troves in this set as well, which is like a terrible rule. Don't use it ever. But it was a neat idea.
Searching the urns for different things. And
it was a double to search for different stuff and see if you found some neat loot. And you never did. It was never worth it, but it was a cool idea. It was, for me, this is like 10 out of 10, A+, like everything about it. If you can still get this box and you want terrain, go get this box. Because if you've already got some Gur stuff, this combines so well, changes it up. It does everything you want it to and more.
Yeah.
I really want to see.
For the Gnarlwood Watch. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it, man.
Oh, I think it'd be really cool to see like a Seraphon board with all of the like a display board with a bunch of those pylons in succession, like they were walking through like a parade ground up to a realm shape, like a realm, realm shaper engine. That'd be super super cool.
Yep.
Zach,
Yeah, I agree.
super super cool, the coolest.
Are
Zach.
you pointing at me? Are you oh, okay. I thought you were telling me to
You
make
should
5 of
do
them.
this. Well, you got your kind of Aztec T walls, right? And that fits all well together, right?
Yeah, it's there's two. I have a lot. I'm deeply invested in gear. I had to defend the trees with my heart because I was pretty deep into them. If they're bad, it means I made a lot of terrible decisions, and I'm not willing to make that consideration about myself.
All right. So again, like the Gnarlwood Watch Camp and these next couple sets are breakdowns of some of the other boxes. So adding, again, some cheaper alternatives to getting some unique terrain without having to, necessarily get repeated elements. Although with this Ruined Realm Shaper, you still get trees or whatever else, but
they still had tree sprues to burn. They had to get them in some way.
But with the Ruined spawning pool, you could get that, Skyfire pylon platform, by itself with the other platform, and get more multiples of those for your board if you want.
These are different too. So the Ruined spawning pool those are the two. The Skyfire has that whole extra piece to it with that canopy that the regular one doesn't have, and then the statue of Motzalpotl, I think, is the other one. Actually adds a full ring around that top of that statue too. So
instead of just the front, right?
Yeah, and it was really clever. Putting those together was really fun. I have them built. I don't think I've ever brought them to like League Night or anything like that, and I should, because they're especially the Ruined spawning pool. I didn't glue that extra piece on because, like, if you think about how big that thing already is, and you add this extra platform that goes the opposite direction and height to it as well, it is enormous. So but no, that's and I think that was another one that was only like $60 too, so like for GW prices and stuff, I think it's still online only. But I highly recommend the Ruined spawning pool as well, in addition, especially if you just want to expand a little bit on the Scales of Talaxis box. I think it's just another fantastic piece.
Yeah, I didn't get that one, but that's definitely one I need to look for. I'd forgotten they'd released it separately, and that it was different enough that it was worth to get.
Yeah, and I guess it is online only. You have to get it from GW directly. It was a white box, black box, whatever they do these days for it. But yeah, definitely a great set.
Yep, and I think the next set is this is the online only I found, so you can get the original pylon, the original statue, some other stuff there now. So reduce the availability of boxes, but there's still ways to get unique terrain to add to your particular sets.
Yep, you can buy 5 maw pits.
Yeah,
it's right. You can do it the easy way. I was like breaking down boxes and things like that, splits and all that kind of stuff with people. You can do it the easy way. You can just get 5, add 5 plus 5 times to the cart, check out, you're done, ready to go. Or Vint can make his dream board of walking up to the temple ship with 17 Starfire pylons.
Like a teleporter.
Yeah, it's particle accelerator.
Exactly. All right. Okay. So now, of course, we get to the starter Crypt of Blood.
What a treat.
I know. I mean, the terrain is actually unique, and the Neferata statue is cool. The walls are different than you get in the the mausoleum, and it incorporates really well with that. But yeah, it's definitely not enough for a board by itself.
It was great in the starter set because you also didn't get full warbands, so you're like, all right, great. I don't need all of. What if I had half of everything I needed? Okay, great, cool.
Yeah, so only get this at a really, really, really good deal, or separately, whatever in terms of terrain.
When they do sell it as the this terrain just got reboxed in the Spearhead, the newest Sand and Bone, I think.
Yep.
Sand and Blood. Yep. So that's in there now if you don't want to. I mean, it's probably still mind paying a little bit more, you do get the two really awesome
Moms.
Underworlds warbands in here. Yeah, they're just two of the better ones. Obviously, Calthea and what's the vampire's name? Duval, Count Duval, something like that. Yeah,
Robert.
both. Yeah, good, fun, look great. Rob, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Move on from there. Now we get to some more Gurish terrain, but of a different type.
Whoa.
So this is all out of the Gnarlwood, but added a lot of really cool, unique elements, especially like the Realmscape expansion set. You actually got some buildings and walls. You got some really cool Aqualith. What's it called? Cleansing Aqualiths. And of course, the Magradroth remains and other unique pieces. And of course, the objective markers. So I thought this was, any of those could be unique, added to your table, add to some playability. There's a little bit of verticality there, but not tons. But I think you can make unique scenarios around any sorts of those elements. And back in the first edition, they had some scenarios, some challenge battles where you used objective markers as a unique focal point of that particular challenge battle. So that's why I thought I'd highlight that they have some Realmscape objectives, which you could, repeat those types of games or create something unique for those as well.
They just look so cool, and like that's the best and worst part about Warcry is like how versatile it can be. And like when you're just putting tokens down for objectives, it's like, yes, it's very playable, but when you have stuff like this and you put it on the board, it just like it brings it to life, right? It gives us this third dimension instead of just being a bit of cardboard you've plopped down. It's like, no, well, I gotta fight Vint, he's not gonna ring that bell, I'm gonna ring that bell. So it just really gives you something to tell your stories with too, right? And just looks better. I will say I have a ton of these ones as well. Fondian Strongpoint comes with everything except the objectives and the Nexus Siphon here. It comes with two boards, and the Gurish Expanse is literally just two 30 by 22 boards, so they're different, which is nice too. But it also comes with the realms. What's the Incarnate's name?
Kronspine.
The first incarnate. Yes, Kronspine. Yes, thank you, man. And like you can do stuff with that Realmscape expansion set. You can put platforms on it, like we were talking before. That Cleansing Aqualith, you can just leave the stairs detached and have like this cool floating platform, and you can paint it like blood with a corn skull, like I did. That was really fun. Those Megadroth remains. I had so many sprues of scatter from like the original Heart of Gur, and I bought a second Megadroth. So like I just have a board that's literally all rib, like protrusions out of like bone basically protrusions. Yeah, like it's basically catacombs but with only bones making the walls and stuff like that. So if you can get a good deal on Fondian Strongpoint and you don't care about that, like the Incarnate, you can just kind of flip that, sell it to somebody for a good deal, and just make the price of the box cheaper for yourself. It's obviously a little bit of work, but it makes the hobby more cost effective. But like so many of these, they really do look great. They mix well with a lot of the stuff we've already talked about. And the boards, I think, have a lot of playability to them. There's like a greeny brown side, and then like a very sandy orangey side. And you can just do a lot of different things with those too. So I really like pretty much everything that's here. And it's pretty available too. It's still get it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff is very nice. I think the Nexus Siphon is really fun. And it just like, no matter how you paint it, like it just looks good. The Cleansing Aqualith, much the same, right? The model is done so well that you can slap contrast on it in 3 different colors and it'll look incredible. Low key, the knight or the like paladin guy with the shield and the spear and those are really nice like feature pieces just to have, right? Like if you put that in the middle of any of your terrain pieces, you've added like +5 character to whatever terrain you're doing it in. You can throw it into any of the Gur stuff. You can throw that in catacombs, and you'll have a really cool like random piece of terrain just sitting in the center.
Here goes again, catacombs.
Like putting like they're nice too because there isn't a bunch of like regalia on them. So for you to be able to like add and make it look more Lethacy or make it look whatever color of your for your city's board you want it to be. All of this stuff just makes everything. It just adds so much character and panache to your board. Use all the time. You know, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Here we go. Down, down, the goblin.
This is kind
down.
of a joke between Mike and myself, where a lot of the Lord of the Rings terrain is amazing and beautiful, but Lord of the Rings, it was made on a different scale, so it is smaller. It's like true 28 millimeter rather than heroic, or whatever we're at now.
32, I think, is what it normally is. Yeah.
But I thought it would be at least important. I know Mike's got some additional opinions, but Goblin Town works for everything. People, like Paven smashed it into the Loon, shrine and made a great piece of terrain. People use it all over the place. And this set, if you can find it cheap, it's you can do anything with it, and it works really well for Warcry.
Even honestly, they're still making it, so like even if you can't find it below like MSRP, it's still you can get it at the regular price. But it's so versatile. Like what you're looking at here, like each of those, the big center platform is 2 slightly smaller platforms, and then everything else is its own little thing. So you can just take those and glue them onto stuff. I did have a thought after I think I own like 4 of these ones now. I got too many of them again, but. You can also just do this with popsicle sticks if you want. They're just wooden planks. You can do, if this is a great hobby craft project and it's like so ubiquitous in the way it can be applied, and put it on anything, just making wooden platforms looks great. This is, this comes with like bones and shackles and stuff all over it. But yeah, you get a couple of them because you can get more verticality and create kind of like this jungle gym kind of scenario, but mixing it with other stuff, this is great. Like Skaven terrain is what I used it for. It just looks Skaven-y at its core. It's just ramshackle kind of cobbled together bits of wood. So yeah, there's you can't see it. The piece on the far left, it's the only one that really stands out by itself because it's part of it has just got a door instead of like planks basically that they put on there, which is really fun. But it's super playable. It just inherently looks great. And it's
use it for walkways on buildings. You can you can add it on to other stuff. And,
stuff we talked about before too, right? If you want to make those L-shaped walls that you have and add platforms to them, this is a great way to do it because you don't have to worry about like, how's the crown molding? Is it going to fit in? No, you just whack some planks on the top and you make it look like they just put them there because they did.
Right.
Yeah, it's just this is another like top tier set in my eyes for sure.
Yeah, and of course you've mentioned Oslogoth, the ruins for that. I mean, the buildings look amazing. Yeah, and I think you said some people still play Warcry on them. It just gets a little trickier fitting models in and around, perhaps. But
yeah, the nice thing about especially like it's the hold on, it's over here. It's the Gondor terrain. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's technically there's the Gondor mansion, and Osgiliath was the like big. They made a big box with like multiple sets of them in there, and that's a great deal if you can get it if you want to buy a ton of them. But the Osgiliath mansion and the Osgiliath ruins, the ruins are super playable. Like even the scale being a little bit off. Like Cody, who was on last time, he made it with those, and he's like, it's just it works, it fits super well. Okay. But then the mansion, it's so modular, and like if you look at people's builds with them, it's insane. Like obviously Zorpa's like the terrain guru for Lord of the Rings terrain out there. If you haven't ever seen his channel, definitely take a look at it. Also, don't subscribe because you're going to get a lot of thumbnails and videos that are very the same over and over again. No, he's a great dude and someone that just cares so much, and he's done incredible builds with that stuff. But like you don't have to follow the directions. You can really get customized with it, so you can make bigger platforms and stuff like that with them too. Make full cities. Make people who made enormous buildings. It's insane how big some of them are. So like the tower is a little harder of a sell just because it's going to be very similar to the what was it, the Realm Shaper, because it's just like, hey, here's a massive thing you can't interact with in the middle of the board, but it looks amazing. So if you're okay having one of those, then do it. The other one that I really think has potential for play is the Palisades from the, oh my goodness, what's Theoden, all the Horse Lords, where are they from?
Yeah.
Rohan, right? Yeah, Rohan.
Yep.
Yeah, Rohan.
Yep. So that one, they have some really cool palisades. It's another one that's pretty easy to make if you want to, with just like wooden skewers. You can just kind of glue a whole bunch of those together and get some pretty good similar builds from that. But I think that one, you can. It also has like platforms that you can stand on with them too. So not necessarily by themselves that are super doable, but they just look great. It's all Lord of the Rings stuff. It's GW plastic, so you can get really customizable with it. And then the other one that I also bought the huge box of, that came with 6 kits of it, that I didn't know about the scale difference at the time, Josh, was the Fortress of Dol Guldur from the Hobbit movies. That one, it's another one that's great, especially if you like painting filigree, because on all the walls, they're just like, what if we banged a whole bunch of metal to hold it up? And so there's just metal straps everywhere, all over these walls. But also a lot of I think you could get away with some more customizable builds for that one too, to make it more playable. But definitely, if you build it as is, they've got these tiny little like areas that you're trying to get models into, and it's like 25 mil bases, maybe 28s, 32s are really struggling to use them. But it just looks so good. And if you can build just a couple of playable pieces with them, build one of those, don't follow the instructions, just make it a little more open. For Dol Guldur, you could put it with all of the mausoleum stuff, right? Any graveyard stuff would look great in there too. So,
right.
Yeah, right. But it's nice because it's all GW plastic for all of these. It's still in print, which is amazing. It looks fantastic. But yeah, just be aware. Really check and see if you can find the scale on it too. Like the lake houses are another set that they do, but it's like they just have docks. So you can just use Goblin Town for that, and it's just a house, so you don't really need to spend $60 on a house to just put it down. So
yeah, exactly. All right. So now we got a whole sets of faction terrain, and then we get some older terrain, and I already mentioned that Paven took the Loon Shrine, which is I think on the next slide, and added some platforms, and we used it in Warcry games, and it was perfect. And I mentioned earlier that somebody took pieces of the Bone Tithe Nexus and combined it with the Mausoleum set. That looks great. So I definitely think these can be used in quite a variety of ways.
Some of the ones that I've used for sure, the Charnel Throne is nice because you can just not put that throne. You don't have to glue it, so you just have a nice little bit of stairs that goes well with a lot of stuff. I have a board where I use the Skull Altar and the Nexus Chaotica on the same one, all corn themed, that just work great. They're a little bit playable. Vint had a guy stand. I didn't put the crystal on the Nexus Chaotica, and that's the nice thing with these too. If you just take little pieces off, they do get a lot more playable. The gnaw holes, for example, you don't put that wood on. They're a little more kind of maw pitty in that sense. Or you can use that Goblin Town terrain and put it on top of the wood that they have there, make it a little more standable. So yeah, you can get creative with these for sure. And if nothing else, just putting one on the board makes it look great. It's okay to have something that's just kind of blocking a little bit of stuff. Like Feculent Narmal, Famous Lanesh, the Herdstone, those are, they don't have a lot of interactability as far as Warcry play goes, but they look great, and they're great for adding a theme to your board.
Yeah. And you can add unique rules to them too.
Exactly. So, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So the Herdstone is about the same height as the Skull Island pillar thing
tower
from the start of the one. So taking that, and then you take the hooks from like the bridge, and you can run them back and forth, and then it gives you a way to kind of fight across the top.
That's really
finding a way to kind of
that's a creative way to do it.
Yeah. But then you put it's kind of like with Paven's idea. You put the Goblin Town terrain or something on the back of it. I was actually going through pictures, and I found all of the pictures from that event, Mike, where we had the Pyregeist and those guys fighting on that thing. And people are like, wow, is that your model? And I'm like, that one is. And they're like, oh, every time. So
it's not fair. I paint with high levels of contrast because I think it looks good, so it always stands out more. People don't understand the nuance of your painting, Van. I'm just using raw techniques that unrefined, just a goblin man in his goblin town.
But it's good. I like a lot of the stuff. I think a Feculent Gnarl Maw table with the tied down Gnarl Oak would be kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. I actually just built one of those because I'm hoping to make a Nurgle board pretty soon with some of that Kill Team terrain, I think. So
Oh, sure.
just put one together.
Fit with Rotmire Creed and stuff in there. They would fit right in there, having that in their swamp, right?
If you're into tubes, a lot of tubes on the Gnarl Mall.
We'll go to the next set here. Yep. Excuse me. There's the Loon Shrine. Got some fun towers, and I've seen, of course, the shipwreck used in lots of different ways.
When I'm looking at this,
I bought the. Go ahead.
The one that stands out the most to me that I'm like, it would make really good engageable terrain is a Sylvaneth Wildwood. I just can't get enough how that really ties everything together. My roots go deep in that. All kidding aside, I think the totem and the tower are some of the best terrain they've made. They are scary to put together because the whole way through you're like, there's no way this stands. There's no way. I'm going to put this on the base and I'm going to feel disappointed. But that's so not true. You get it done and it magically does its thing. And I loved that about it. It had me guessing the whole way through.
The only time that it is true, Vin, is when you put the glue on and immediately after you go, sweet, it should stand now, and you put it on and the glue hasn't set it all yet, and then it does fall apart because you did it too soon and couldn't wait. But outside of that, I agree.
I had one of those moments too, and I was helping somebody put one together. So the first one I put together on my time. So I was like, oh, I kind of get this. This is fine. It goes together super cool. I can put the mask on it that's wood, and that fits in with literally all the Gur terrain. Fantastic, delightful. Doop doop doop. And then somebody at one of the local game stores asked me to help them with theirs, and I was like, easy, and slapped it together super fast and was like, now I know we were talking about how this doesn't work, and dramatically set it on its base, and it did the
did the splits.
Yeah, it does. It kind of shimmies, and then the buttons fall off, and then the side piece falls. And they looked at me like, did you just ruin my big terrain piece that I spent money on? And I was like, no, it's okay.
No. The one thing
mine was fine.
To try to make that more playable, right?
Yeah.
I didn't put the jaw on it. It's obviously just great bits to use for other stuff, but I didn't on that platform. I left the jaw part off just for Warcry in particular. It just makes it a little easier to get on and off, I think, for it. But it's another one that just looks so good. It's a great put some bridges attaching to it for sure. Works out really well. Gloomtide Shipwreck. I was working on a board coming up for an event eventually. That I've got some fun ideas for that too, but. Again, we've talked about the Sylvaneth and stuff, but I think some of these are add platforms if you want to. Mallpaw will just look good on the board as well. It's cool. Just some of it's fun to just put on the board as blocking terrain, and it'll just look good.
Yeah, it's a storytelling element. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. And it always adds so much flavor. And again, all these are all in stock too. So if you want them, you can get them, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And more to come because they keep adding more terrain, more faction terrain every
new Kahadran Overlord just got a new, kind of set. I didn't include that.
I don't want to talk about that. I still want to make that stupid KO board where it's all right. Moving on.
Next slide, please. So the next few slides are just really old terrain. Some of the stuff that was back in Warhammer, some of the stuff that came out in the first edition of Age of Sigmar. So a lot of it's going to be hard to find, but I've seen it out there. Some of the game stores still have it, so I thought I'd include slides. It's like the Arcane Ruins. I've seen pieces of one in a game store long ago, but it looked like it was a cool set. You could do a lot of really cool conversions and terrain builds with that kind of stuff. But some of the other sets I haven't seen or haven't played on before. I've seen the Realm Gate before and the Dragon Fate Dias. But again, I don't know if you've had any experience playing on any of these sets or not.
I have experience on all but the Dreadstone Blight.
And I've got that one, and I've played on it, so I can bring it.
Woo! Complete.
Nice.
Gotta catch 'em all.
The Dreadstone Blight looks like it's got a platform. That would be fun for Warcry. It's got a tower. It's got 3 stories essentially.
I
Your
made a
first floor,
full
second,
custom
third.
mission for that one where you both start on one end, and it's like I played it with Twixler Dan, local fella, and I had it was a full custom mission with the graveyard terrain. Actually, it was. I'll set it up again sometime for you. It was really fun. I
Yeah,
liked it a
yeah,
lot.
that would be
The
fun.
mission worked.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. And the
so Arcane
ruins, of
Ruins,
course, smaller. So, but
I'll just speedball through them. Arcane Ruins looks cool, too
yeah,
tiny. They all also
yeah.
kind of have to go together to stand up. So it feels like you have options. You don't. Azurite Ruins,
Oh,
super
gotcha.
cool idea. Love it, love it, love it. The splash terrain with the little trap door. One of those was going to be in my treasure pit. When we were going to do the treasure things, I had one of those still floating around because it's a cool bit. The rest of it was when they first decided that they were going to have terrain that would interlock. We had it at the store that I worked at, and it was awesome until somebody decided to put it together, take it apart more than like once, and then it was like clickety clackety. Hopefully, it works. The Baleful Realm
I
Gate,
know.
awesome,
No.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Those never stop being cool. They are a little tricky to put together because by the time you put the stairs and everything on, you're just kind of hoping the Realm Gate stays. It does. You just want to use super glue. Dragon Fate Dais, super awesome terrain piece. When it breaks, it's over. Don't pretend. It's done. It's seen its last horizon. Move forward and be sad that you had this really cool piece of terrain that was floating on a half an inch of too small stairs. Dreadfire Portal, see Dragon Fate Dais, except it's a little bit more sturdy and looks really cool. But boy, howdy, do our models feel really big on that because like a battle mage is what's supposed to fit between those. So it's tiny. Death Knell Watch, Chef's Kiss, awesome. Again, we've scaled up a bit since then, so it feels a little tiny, like kind of, we've taken over the Hobbitses, but that's what you're going to have with that in the chapel. Even though they're amazing pieces of terrain, they're very tiny, but they feel very good to put on the table for theme. Again, awesome stuff.
Gotcha.
If you want to make the Death Knell Watch feel a little bit more like neat, try green stuffing over some of the doors or the things that look like doors, and then you suddenly have like a parapet or an altar or something that your guy can stand on. Otherwise, it's gonna feel. I feel it's kind of tiny. Chapel is awesome. There's so much of that like era of terrain because there's the chapel and there are some other town building things that came along that time
Yep.
that were super super
Yep.
pretty and super super cool. I'm always sad that we don't just have "and this is a building" anymore. And that was like the
That's not
golden age
true.
for those.
They just re-released it all for Old World. They just released all of those old buildings and I think
Really?
the chapel, the watch. Yeah, they check it out. And then like the fences and stuff like that. I'm
Ah,
pretty sure you can get them
interesting.
all again.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that's my hot and fast takes on most of this. Chapel's cool. They're all just a little too tiny. I don't know that they'll work for depending on which old world models you're using. But even like Skaven for that size, like the Skaven that like a clan rat feels big next to that building. It doesn't feel like he can fit
Yeah.
in the door. Cool
Yeah,
terrain.
I think they're also smaller.
10,000% use it for D&D. For Warcry, I think the Dragon Fate Dais is super neat. And like it really fits into any of the boards. I really liked it for like the Chaos boards. The Arcane Ruins was kind of it was a neat thing to put a boss into and make it look cool. And the Dreadfire Portal was neat. Add some of that Goblin Town stuff at the top to make it more of something for your characters that are not on 25 or 28 mil bases to stand. There you go. There's my hot and fast takes.
Right.
Let
Excellent.
me sprinkle a couple of tiny pieces on top of that. The Azurite Ruins come in the same box as the what was it? One of the Ravaged Terrain or the Terrain ones that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of the scatter that came in one of those. I also have the Dragon Fate Dais. It is broken Vint, but I managed to fix it a couple times. I got a plan for it. It's coming up. Another one coming up in an event soon. But yeah, it looks really cool. That hovering and stuff like that, always a really cool effect. Dreadfire Portal looks like a really expensive set of stairs that work really great if you want to pay a lot for stairs. And then, but the Dreadstone Blight, I do think it's not symmetrical because it has like one open side side.
Right.
So it does get a little wonky to play with, but it looks so good, and it's Warcry scale, I would say, both
Nice.
from like the heights that you want for it and the openness. You can leave a lot of stuff out of it if you want to as well. It's still kind of pricey to get, but it has play.
Awesome. All right. Got some more here. Some of it's kind of 40K, but people have used for fantasy as well, like the Barbed Venom Gorse, the Shardrak Spines, Eternity Stare. Interesting. The Fortified Manor, of course, is. I don't know if you can find that anymore. Maybe they were
Actually,
releasing that as well.
I think that's the one that they re-released like that, and it had the other two
Okay.
pieces in it. I'm pretty sure because it came with all like the fence. You can get the fences individually too now, but I think that's the set. But
Yeah.
I swear they did them individually
Gotcha.
as well too.
Yeah, and here's all the Age of Sigmar Stormvault stuff, Timeform Ruins that we kind of touched on before, where you could get as
And they
different AOS sets and combine. Yeah.
They just had that up for made to order as well. You might still be able to get on that train if you want, because that'll probably be the last time that they're printing them. So if you do just absolutely love them, see if you can get them. There's still some boxes of them out there, but that's probably going to be your most guaranteed way. And then you get to wait 6 months while they print them up for you. But those Shardrak Spines and the Barbed Venom Gorse look really cool in Gur stuff for sure. Sprinkle some of that in as your cool
or Chaos Wastes or something.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. A lot of different play in there.
Yeah.
I like
any experience
the barbed
these vents or
the Barbed Venom Gorse and the Shadrak Spine. I think are really cool in a couple things. One, they go together kind of goofy. So you have this really dynamic piece of terrain. It's hard to see in this picture, but you can get models into them, so they're kind of like in the trees. Like you really feel like they're in there.
Oh wow!
And then they're also really like sturdy. Like for like a splash terrain thing, the Barbed Venom Gorse is like sturdy. I thought that they were very good. They handled me mishandling them quite a bit. And they're just a sturdy little tree of spiky death. You can paint them however you want because who knows what these random trees look like. And they do fit anything you want to put them in. I like the Eternity Stare. It's very cool. I think in its original scale, it would have been even cooler. But as it stands, it's very neat. And then we kind of talked about the Stormvault stuff. I think the Time Worn Ruins, when that came out, I was baffled at like what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I want a ton of splash terrain. This is my box, and I need it to be too big to put on anything on a base. The only pieces I've ever used are the sconces, because the sconces make awesome objective markers. Everything else, I'm like, well, here's random stuff. I like the cool thing I've seen with the Time Worn Ruins that people have done is they take the Time Worn Ruins and they put them on the Shattered Temple, or they put them on the Storm Vault stuff, so it looks a little less like. And here's a giant flat plane. You know,
it is the same architecture too, so it's the same pillars and stuff, so it's the same. And the Time Worn Ruins is the other thing that comes in the box with the ravaged. Oh my goodness, what is it called?
Yeah, the trees.
The workaround with the great board with the spider webs and stuff on it too. That's the other piece that comes in there. So,
All right, so we got here some more stuff.
There's some better ones in here. I think there's some. Mage Wrath Throne is another just kind of set dressing piece in my eyes. Numinous Oculum, I think, does have some playability. It gets a little tricky once you start sanding in the orb part. Same with the Ophidian Archway.
This doesn't show that there's a platform on the backside.
And you can build. Those have some modularity when you build them too. These are going to be expensive to find though. Like these ones, these are pricey. They're probably like 100 plus if you find them. But if you get to build them from scratch, the plastic sucks to work with. This is the old formula for plastic, and it is very wonky. You'll have a lot of kind of misjoined stuff. But you do have some flexibility in the way that you can put it together. I think the Ophidian Archway is just beautiful. That also has a platform on the backside of it. You can do some really cool stuff with that one too. And I think it's relatively playable. It's like a 3 or 4 inch. It's kind of a tall platform. It's a huge piece. The platform is pretty high up, but you can make it work, especially with like the Numinous and some of the other bits that we've talked about here, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Have you done anything with that one, Josh?
No. played around them with Age of Sigmar when it first came out. I've got the Warcry Citadel when that first came out, and I've played some Warcry games on and around it. But yeah, it's hard to use well. Actually, I remember Paul used his Corvus Cabal up in there, climbing way up, and then dive bombing people.
That's the one really tricky thing with that one, is because if you have any models with it, like, because that it doesn't show it here, but that thing is, I'm looking at mine over here. It's probably a foot and a half tall. Like, yeah, it is. And it's great if you just want to place it, because it has kind of a small like footprint. But it has a lot of height and is obviously so beautiful and thematic. But it also has a platform up high, and if you're fighting an opponent's warband that has climb for free, vertical doesn't cost you anything, or they just have a flyer, and they take a, well, I guess treasure would be harder to do, but
you used to be able to, but now you can't fly with treasure anymore.
But you can still climb with those abilities, and if you got a guy that's just chilling at the top and you can't even make it on a double move, it's just a pretty negative play experience. But it is stunning. It is a beautiful piece of plastic. Temple of Skulls is another one that I don't find to be particularly playable. I have it. I got excited about it. It is enormous.
Really? Okay.
It is huge. I mean,
oh wow!
It's like a foot and a half, maybe. Not a foot.
I couldn't see any pictures for scale, so
I'll bring it on Tuesday. It is a beast, and it's cool on one side and really difficult to climb on the other side. If it's like the only thing you have on the board, you kind of have to put it in the center of the board for Warcry, I think. Vin, have you used that one at all?
No, that's one I'm not familiar with.
Okay. It's neat. It looks really cool, but I would never put it on a board because it doesn't do enough by itself, and it forces you to kind of play it by itself, I think. And then
gotcha.
I'll let you guys knock out the last couple, but the Garden of Moor, obviously we talked a lot about that.
We've touched on already, right? Yeah. And the others again, walls and fences we already touched on before too. And the Watchtower, I think you don't really play on. I think it's just another.
There's a little gap, but I think it would be a pain to put anything in there.
Yeah. Agreed.
But it looks good. Another one, if you really like that vibe and you just want to build a board that has that stuff on it, you can make it look really good for sure.
Right. Any additional thoughts, Finn?
No, I think that hits it. My only thought is that they are an old plastic, so. The Ophidian Archway, I had more people have difficulty putting that together than most other models I've ever had. Like, I can't tell you how many classes I did with,
gotcha.
Let's put our Ophidian Archway together. For whatever reason, it was always a pain in the keister. I think the Warcry Citadel...
I had the same experience.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. It's rough. The Warcry Citadel or Skullvein Manse, building that without the observation tower and building it with the castle crenellations, 10 out of 10 would recommend. It is very difficult to put together that way because those crenellations go together like squares and circles, man. It just doesn't fit most of the time. I think I had somebody ask me to build it for them if they bought it when I worked at a store, and I was like, yeah, I can build anything. It's going to be fine. I had to build it after hours because I would get so mad at it. But we built it with the crenellations, and it turned out great. I have since seen one where they took the buildings off of the Citadel and put different platforms there instead. So it kind of left it flat so you can hop up, and that was cool. But the walkways are tiny, right? So you need your 25 mil bases are sticking out over the top of them, so it's just tough. I think taking one and getting it 3D printed just a little bit bigger makes that piece of terrain just really 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha.
But that's what I got for it. Otherwise, I think you guys are spot on.
All right.
Here we go.
So,
oh boy,
it's our last set of older terrain, and then our final slide. So again, the Dread Fort. I've certainly played some Warcry games on parts of it, and siege battles and other stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely a really cool set.
I spent a lot of money. This is a very expensive set if you want to get it, and I love it. I think it looks so cool, and originally I had dreams of playing Warcry on it. I still do. I have a lot of I think the Malefic Gate has some of the most potential, and the walls. Yep. I think you can do a really cool charging into Mordor kind of board, and
Yep.
I've made some boards where that does work, where you can have them open. Paven put together a really cool custom scenario where we had special rules and things like that we used all of this stuff on. I would say if you're buying for Warcry, you got to have a real good plan for the Skull Keep. And then this is all really modular, right? So like the Malefic Gate is unique pieces. Then the Skull Keep and the Overlord Bastion are basically the exact same thing. The nice thing with the Overlord Bastion that you get is you get that little staircase that you can see, and you get a unique set of wall where it has that gap, and you get a wall end cap. So that is a unique piece with the Overlord Bastion. They build as like a cake, like a layer cake. So the Crucible you can see has 2 layers underneath the little cauldron thing that's shooting out. The Skull Keep is the same. It's got 3 layers, and then they've got the top to it. It's just those parts are just so difficult to play on. The fortress wall is like 4 inches if you want to climb up it, but if you have those stairs, it's kind of nice too. So I do think it's not good for regular play, but definitely if you have it, it's great to use. Or if you just love it, you can figure something out with it.
Right. Yeah.
But
and there's some ruined sections that aren't displayed here. I think they had some ruined.
The Overlord Bastion has the end piece that is ruined, I think, on it.
Yeah, or something like that.
But yeah, Malefic Gate's nice because you get 2 wall sections with the gate. Overlord Bastion comes with 1. Skull Keep just comes by itself. Same with the Crucible. So again, and actually, something that might be kind of cool to do. I didn't think about this. If you buy them, don't build them up. Build them as just those sections. That would probably work really well, honestly,
right?
Because they're like 3 inches. So, but again, it's an expensive hobby project to do. Like I want to say, your Malefic Gate is $200 to $300. Overlord Bastion is the same. If you can get them under than that, like do your research if you're buying these because they are pricey.
Yeah. And there are 3D print equivalent type things out there.
I'm sure.
For
yeah.
sure.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said before, Vint, right? If you have the option to 3D print, you can scale it down a little bit, make it a little more, accessible for the scale that Warcry wants to play at, because they are absolutely beautiful when you build them up. There's so much, again, if you're painting filigree, but they look so good.
Yeah.
And Witch Fate Tor kind of does the same thing. It's got those different layers that I actually, the one of those that I have, somebody built and they didn't build any of the inner parts to it. So it's just a single cylinder. And I didn't realize that at the time when I purchased it from eBay, but it's completely spray painted silver. And so clearly somebody intended it to be a silver tower.
Right.
All right, you win.
I like the Witchfire Tor. It's neat. When it comes to the Skull Keep corn item, have you guys played on one that's a full circle yet? So Tom,
no, I don't have that many.
Yeah.
So Tom McClure has the full thing. So it goes all the way around, and then there's like a battlefield in the center. So what he's built it. He's got the whole thing, and when you play in, like we did a Warcry night there eons ago, but what we did is we each picked a corner, like a Skull Keep corner, and then we would all fight towards the center, and we each had to put models in the center. So as those models were fighting in the center, we had our guys scaling around and fighting like gladiators on the outside too. And awesome. If you you could get to the
if you want to build that at home, that's probably only about a $2,000 project at prices if you can find it all.
Well, so I think he traded, or got it when it came out.
It was cheaper when it came out too. Yeah,
right,
I think it's the difference between getting it old and now.
Yeah, so he has, but it's super cool to see. It's massive, right? It plays on. You can't fit all this on a Warcry board, but if you play it on an AOS size board, or just if you just understand that, exactly that. If you're okay with this just being the board, it's fantastic. There's a way to put the thing on top of the Crucible, on top of the Skull Keep, or some kind of version of it. And that's really neat too, because then you have these like the Crucible things on top of everything, like these giant altars, and those are neat too. It's fun. Anybody, have you guys built any part of this before?
I haven't built it. I've played on it or seen it, but I've never had to build one.
Did it cut you too?
Yep.
Mike?
I got pokes.
I got impaled. I was hung. I was my skull on the wall outside.
I've definitely
stick my thumb straight through.
Yeah, I helped
Yep.
somebody build the Skull Keep, and I
Corn
like
takes his
legit.
due.
Yeah. Corn cares not. He's like, you're building my house, that's fine, but we're gonna seal it in blood, brother. So
Right, exactly.
yeah, it's a violent piece. I think it's awesome. I don't think it's accessible. I don't think its theme is
Yep.
immaculate, but
Yep.
in order to get that theme, you need
Mhm.
the whole works, and that's going to take so long. And it's going to be so expensive. To Mike's point, right? Like you can buy a Warlord
Right,
Titan
right.
or the Skull Keep in its entirety, and like when that
or
sinks in,
or a
what I
used
just
car.
said, yeah, a small car, my car, for sale right now.
No, Vin, your car is way more expensive because of all the GW plastic in it. That thing is, yeah.
Oh,
I hope it's
yeah.
insured.
I need, yeah, literally, yes, literally. I have, yes, yep.
All right.
Every time
All
somebody's
right.
driving recklessly,
Final.
I'm like, yes, look at that, wow. Woo.
So obviously there are many alternatives to GW stuff that we've talked about. There's lots and lots of beautiful scratch built terrain out there, tons and tons of 3D print options. I've played games outside on the grass, with the kids, and of course we have this nice picture of temporary options while you develop your collection, provided by Vint for us. Thank you. And then I put a small thing for gaming mats because the people make Warcry specific gaming mats,
Yeah.
but you can also get fabric from any kind of craft store, and you cut it to size, and you've got great background mat to play on. So there's lots and lots of good options here.
Mhm.
Besides
Avery
what we've
did
been
this
through, so and
really
more
cool
affordable.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, where they did the watercolors on the paper, and that was your mat. Like he
Oh
did
yeah.
watercolor paintings, and that was super cool. I can't tell you how
yeah,
many games of
yeah. Zach
AOS
did some oil
or
painting.
yeah, like Warcry, AOS, any of these games where, hey, I'm coming over. Some of the other pictures not in scene are like just piles of books, right? Like you can play on anything, right? Add the
Yeah, yeah.
dynamic scene you want, make it happen, right? Your models will look good on anything, and the memories you make playing are
Mhm.
just awesome. Maybe it's not the theme, maybe it breaks immersion, but remember we are playing with toys, right? And it's super cool.
Yeah.
You don't need a two
Yep,
For
thousand
yep,
sure.
yep.
dollar skull keep. You can put some paper plates on top of some solo cups. You know, I really want to get like good rules for Beer Hammer Warcry. I think it would get really out of hand really fast. I'm really here for
Yeah.
it, but I don't know. I don't know how we get the good rules. We'll get there. I think it's a task for uh next Mortal
All right,
Realms
that's our
con.
Vin just committed. Yeah, the next episode, Vin's gonna have rules for getting drunk playing Warcry. I think, right?
It starts with whiskey. No.
For every one you roll, no.
Yeah,
I wouldn't make it
I
past the
think I
first
think a
round.
six. Let's make it happy drinking. You drink on sixes, right? Because then
There you go.
everybody's having a good time. You're getting
Every
worse as
claw.
you're playing well.
Right, right. All right. Well, I know everybody. That was a longer episode than we typically have. Lots of pictures in there, lots of
Mhm.
information. Again, we've got lots of different terrain. I've made lots of scratch built terrain, and Mike's been working on various tables. So there's lots of great examples out there. And as we get this posted, please share examples you got. There's lots of beautiful stuff out there. Love to see it all.
Yeah, you can't post if you're watching on YouTube. You can't post it there. So, Josh, what would be a good place for them to post it if they needed to?
The Mortal Realms Discord.
Oh,
We got a Warcry channel. We
Whoa,
got hobby
very
channels.
cool.
Place them in there. We would love to see it. It would be great.
Nice.
It would be great. And of
Very
course, there's
cool.
Warcry Reddit, Warcry their Facebook pages. Those are
Mhm.
also great places to share your terrain ideas. Because I'm
Mhm.
always borrowing and stealing and praising, but also like, how did you do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
saving and
Yep.
copying
Yep.
the links so I can pull
The
them up
library of
anytime.
images.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, Saul just posted a really cool one today that I was pretty excited about. That graveyard. I was like,
Yeah.
let
That's
me
why I was
get a
like,
little
oh, he's got
piece
that
of
element and this element and that element, and it's all. I was
Actually,
like, ooh.
that's a great place if you're looking to see somebody with some more really creative terrain. We'll have to find it. I'll send you the link, Josh. I'll find
Warboss
his blog.
Kurgan.
That's it. Yep, that's his. Check out his blog, Warboss Kurgan, Kurgan. He has some incredible terrain, and he's just really a brilliant mind when it comes to creativity, and it's a
lot of really
whimsical
cool
experience.
Ravage Coast stuff too recently.
Yeah, for sure. And there's years of content.
Yeah.
You got a backlog.
Right. Well, thank you guys, and thank you listeners. We will catch you next time.
Toodaloo.
Warcry.